All right, we are on.
All right, let's go.
Round five or
I
six
was just thinking
official.
that. I don't even know, but enough to know that it's going well.
It's enough.
Yeah. That like
People are coming and they keep coming back and
I didn't
asking for more.
when we first switched from like writing the reviews to this, I didn't know for sure like, all right, this is gonna completely replace Substack.
I know.
And it's
I
like not
miss
even a
Substack a little
do
bit,
you?
but the listening is so much better
I think so.
because and then like you can get so much more out than in the writing.
I think even for the listeners, it's like we couldn't get anyone to read like 10 paragraphs in a
About
book they
Steppenwolf.
haven't read. Yeah.
True, but you get someone to listen about a book
I think
they
so.
haven't read.
Yeah.
I have one story related before we jump in that I was saving. That we were upstate New York in Hunter Mountain with a bunch of like Villanova people,
Yeah.
six couples.
Okay.
Night number one, we're drinking, having a fun time, like everyone's just catching up. Somehow it comes up, Chase.
Yeah.
He says something about me being on like a podcast. I was
Yeah.
doing Lock Talk. I was on like a random podcast like years ago
Okay.
as a guest, and I thought he was talking about like this.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, yeah, like the podcast, me and Steve, and everyone's like, wait, hold on a second. Like, what do you mean you and Steve have a podcast? And I was like, what do you mean? What do you
Yeah.
mean we don't? Yeah,
Wait, you guys aren't listening?
yeah. Like I thought you guys were all listening. So I showed them the Spotify, and everyone. I was assuming that I was gonna get just annihilated with
Yeah.
people making fun of me, but
Yeah.
everyone was like super open to it, and
Yeah.
like kind of like that's really funny. And they were looking at the list of stuff. First, it just sparked a amazing discussion about books.
Love it.
Everyone's like talking about books, like what are your recommendations? What if if you're just getting started, what book would you
And
recommend?
that's all we ever wanted from this. Like all we ever wanted was, like to just have one, I wanted to be able to read a book because I'd never really done that before.
Never.
So then two, then all of a sudden like we got lucky with the first couple of books and we were both just like, holy shit, like books are actually pretty amazing. And then if you have someone else that also read that same book, it's like all you want to do is talk about the
It
book
makes it
you just
so
read.
much more fun
Yeah.
knowing that you're about to like kind of talk about it. Um, so then one controversy was I was like, so I think Chase was like, what's your top three? And I was like,
Of all time.
yeah. And I was like, it's tough. But I think if I had to pick three, it would be Breath, Talking to Strangers, and Untethered Soul.
Yeah, it's really tough because I think Talking to Strangers has to be in it because it was the first one we did and it was
Mm.
just like
It sparked a
sparked
revolution.
it. Yeah. So I would totally agree with that. I think Untethered Soul also almost has to be in it just from the standpoint of I would have never even considered a self-help type genre until Untethered Soul and like
Life impact on Untethered and
yeah.
Breath. So basically,
And
like Chase
then
was not happy with that top three. He was like, "You need
no.
a better top three than that." And I said, "I don't think you can get better than that. Like maybe you throw Steppenwolf in there." And
It's
he's
hard
like,
to
"What
put
is that?"
that. Yeah, don't throw that in there. I feel like Steppenwolf, if you go in with low
You can't start.
expectations, yeah.
That's your first book, Steph.
I think Steppenwolf also, it's like we read kind of the overview of it, and it was like, it was a book about a half man, half wolf, and I like read that, and I was like, this is either gonna be the worst book ever or the best. And I really thought it was gonna be the worst one ever, and then I loved it. So then it's like the expectation thing, I think, is everything for a book. And if you
It's big.
tell someone to read Steppenwolf, I think they're gonna have a hard time with it.
I agree. I think that goes with a lot of the books too, even Untethered.
I think Untethered, it's more like you need to be ready for that, like
You need to
want
want it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So then that was a great discussion, like very fun, like everyone talking about books, and I was like, this is a great Friday night.
yeah.
Book club kind of coming into real life. Everyone's like, I'm gonna listen to this on my ride home.
You should have got the computer out,
Just
fired
started
up.
record.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
I literally said, I wish I was recording this.
yeah.
And then they scrolled down and saw book club talks vaccines, and they're like, what is this?
Yeah.
So like, I tried to. I didn't even know how to explain to them about like the PowerPoint and all the
Yeah,
books that we read, and they were like, I thought I was gonna get attacked for that too, and everyone was
yeah.
like kind of just super interested, asking like really good questions, and um, it was just very fun. And then
I think we're at the forefront of some of these topics.
we were ahead, so everyone's like, I need to listen to that one. Like in the weeks after, people have been texting me about it,
Yeah,
like, "Hey, can I get a copy of the PowerPoint?"
yeah.
And I said I sent them like the video
And you said
version.
no, you have to listen to it.
Here's
That's
the
what you said.
Substack link.
Yeah.
Here's the video. At one point, someone was like, "Yeah, but like polio, like that one's at least legit, right?" And I said,
Don't give me stuff.
"Hold on, cancel our plans
Yeah.
for the weekend."
Moth and the Iron Lung.
I told them I wasn't there
Yeah.
long, so like that was nice. Because I really thought I was gonna get made fun of pretty bad, and I'm sure I did, and
So
just
is our
didn't notice.
vaccine one? It's not on Spotify, right?
It's on Spotify audio,
Okay.
so I got nervous. So like, if these people actually listen to that, I've never actually re-listened to it, so I was like, I need
Yeah.
to make sure this is coherent.
Yeah.
And I re-listened to it.
Seems okay.
Very impressive.
Yeah, I was gonna say, otherwise, I think that that's one we could definitely go back to and revisit because it wasn't one book, it
That's five or six
was,
books.
yeah.
I really
And it was also like our first one ever recording. Like I didn't even know,
it was gonna work. I
yeah,
thought it was not gonna work when we did it,
yeah,
and I was like, okay, this will be a practice. But there was a few moments where I was like, oh, I wish I said added some information that we might have learned after. Overall, pretty solid.
yeah, it was really thorough work from you. Like
I
that
think
was
from everyone.
like, yeah, but the
Well,
PowerPoint alone, that must have taken you,
so I was like, how long did you spend on
yeah,
this? I was like, so long.
yeah. Um, and that was the first time I'd seen it, so it's hard for me to like
You,
I was looking at it, seeing it for the first time, so I was like,
I was
holy shit.
upset how much better in that one you were. Because I was like, this is what I know about the most, and everything you added in was like, thank you, because I was like rambling and not making
But
sense,
you need it to be because it's like I wouldn't have even known how to pronounce any of
and
those
you came
words.
in and like kind of level set a lot, and were like re-brought us back into like a normal conversation,
It's huge
which
for me.
was
Yeah.
which was big.
Everyone knows like when you're in a two-person podcast, you gotta ebb and flow. You gotta let someone take the
Yep,
lead sometimes, take a seat back.
yep. And once you're on episode 5 or 6, you start to get into the rhythm.
My favorite thing is when I go back and I listen to it and I just hate every little thing that I'm doing and like
I do the same
and
thing.
then I won't stop doing it and then like the next one I'll be like, okay, I'm not gonna say like yeah every 5 seconds and then I'll just say instead or like just pick up something else. Like right now I'm
It's
doing a
hard.
lot of hand movements and I know I'm gonna continue it for the next 2 hours.
Yeah,
So
yeah, so I thought that was cool. I think, the audience is growing, which is nice. And I would do this with 0 people.
figured. And
But
we
it's
have
always it makes it
we have.
fun to know that some people are like, oh, that's actually cool.
It was even like the writing, like when we used to write the Substacks, like I used to really enjoy like writing and like I'd be
Mhm.
cracking up about what you wrote and
Yeah,
then
vice versa.
yeah, so but it is funny. It's like I told Jen like had called me and I was like, I'm getting ready for the vaccine, podcast and Jen was like, is this what you guys do for fun?
Yeah.
It was just like, what is not fun about this? Like,
That was a lot of the questions. So like people had like I hadn't seen like Wild Bill in like probably a year or two. And a lot of the questions were like
yeah,
what has happened to
yeah.
allow you to get to this point in your life
I
where
think
this
it's
is
a
what
pretty
you're doing?
natural, like it's been a really natural progression.
It
It
has,
started with one book
which
that we
is
both read, discussed it outside, didn't write anything up about it.
yeah,
And then kind of from there, we were just like, we gotta start writing some stuff about
documenting.
these books.
But I think so. Our next episode will be book number 50,
Wow.
which is big. I think I have verbal confirmation from Chase that he would really want to come for one
Love it.
and do it. So I think when we pick the 50th book, we tell him
He
because
reads
he,
it.
he's like,
Yeah.
I'll try to read it, see if we can get him.
That,
If we have our first guest on the 50th,
that'd be
and
huge.
we'll have to pick like I don't know. We'll have to think about what to pick to make it special, but we'll have to pick something good.
Yeah, we can work on that after and
Yeah,
really narrow it down. But yeah, I agree. That 50th book, first guess, it's gonna have to be something that, people want to be discussing and hearing about.
for sure.
But also it
For
could be
sure.
like a throwback to a Malcolm Gladwell and like really some of our heroes on this journey.
It could, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Some of the
All
guys
right.
that got us there.
Yeah. Well, we shouldn't do too many spoilers. That's a good idea.
All right, so you want to jump in?
Yeah.
First book, History of the World, Six Glasses.
Yeah. I think it's by Thomas Standage or something.
Okay, shorter. It was like on audio. I think it was
7 hours.
yeah. I was gonna say like 6, 7 hours. Um, what do you think? Like initial thoughts?
I would say this is what makes book club so great. Like, what a fun book. What
Yeah,
a nice, easy, just fun read that like anyone could do. and it gives you like
Different topic.
different topic. A lot of the books we read are like really intense, and like we did Operation Paperclip, and there's like 100 names, million names in there. She was a neighbor.
Yeah.
Um, versus this where it's like it's just easy listen to. Like this would be one of the books I recommend to people almost a start if they're because it's on something you like, which is drinking,
Yeah.
and it's not
And it's
a
technically like
grind.
a history book,
It's a
but
history,
but
but
it's not like a crazy in-depth history book. Like you were saying, like some of the history books are just like almost too much, or unless you have like a fascination
mm,
with that particular topic, it's almost gonna be like too much detail. This was kind of just I think like everything you needed to hear, everything you wanted to hear about a certain thing, you heard
just
it, and then you kind of moved on to the next thing, and I thought it was perfect.
I just kept thinking when I was reading, like, what a fun book.
Yeah,
That's it. Like,
it's a classic book
what
club book. Like I would say,
what a good time.
yes, this would
Yeah.
be. I totally agree. Like this would be a book that I would recommend if you're starting a book club. This is a great first.
This is the first
Yeah,
book for sure. So basically, what it is he is high. He's takes a look at the six drinks he thinks have like the biggest impact on the world, and kind of how they change, culture and civilization and the way people think about everything or things. Um, so what he did was he took beer, wine, spirits,
Coca
coffee, tea,
Coca
and
Cola.
Coca-Cola,
Yeah,
and he kind of went one by one through. Um,
pretty much in order. Like
it,
when we're saying like start from the beginning, like we're going back to Mesopotamia.
Yeah. And then he kind of just went through like each one, and I think we should probably just go through each one too, and like what he said about it, what we think about it.
Yeah.
Um,
So
because I think beer was number one. So as you said, like beer started like Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt time.
yeah, the
Um,
start of it was like a pretty cool story too, which is I like love the start of all the stories.
yep.
Like the origin of like beer is they're not even sure like whether beer or bread came first. Like that's how
Yeah.
old
Like they
beer
don't
is.
know how or who it was invented, I think.
Yeah, like the original story was that like some god went out and he had this cup of water and then some barley got into it and then it like baked out in the sun all day and then when he came back he like drank it and was just like God, I feel amazing. You know,
It
and
was an
then
accident. Yeah.
yeah, and then from there it was just like people started doing it and drinking it and refining it and changing it. But I thought like it's in some of the oldest depictions that have ever been found. Like it's like
Hmm.
as old gets. It's so old that they don't even have the origin of how it started, which is crazy because it seems like such a complicated process that you wouldn't
Yeah.
just like
So, like now beer, like there's a million ingredients and stuff, but back then it was just like grains and water,
yeah,
essentially gruel that you left outside. And then it was like more nutritious than anything they had. So like all their water was contaminated because they didn't have running water. So like
yeah,
beer was healthier. It had protein, it had vitamins, and it had like they wouldn't let it ferment as long, so it was way less alcoholic.
yeah,
Um, so it was like the drink, like once they had that, it was like the drink of choice for people to like survive.
yeah.
Like they were not putting out 9.5% Golden Monkey Belgian style triples
No,
in Mesopotamia
no.
at all. And
But
I'm not upset that we have these now,
the amount they probably
but
consumed though was crazy because it's like they weren't drinking water. Like that was their
it was
water.
water. It was
Yeah.
water, protein. Like it was a health drink essentially. Like
Yeah.
it's almost crazy how far away from we've come from that. Where like now beer is like maybe one of the worst things you could drink
Yeah.
for your health. And
Yeah.
back then it was, vitamin B, protein, all this good stuff,
It's kind of like a
hydration.
lot of the drinks started as like a medicine. And then all of a sudden
Yeah,
people like
people
were drinking it or
they were
doing it all the
using it as
time.
medicine. Like you mentioned that like if someone's in labor, they're having a baby, you take some beer and some saffron, you mix it,
Yeah.
you put it on their belly during pregnancy for the pain.
Yeah.
It probably helped no one.
Well, we know a lot about like the early doctors and early
Yeah,
medicine, which is just like utterly hilarious. Like the stuff that from these other books that they used to use, it'd be like cat vaginas, like real shit like
cats.
that would be like
At least they were trying something. I feel like
they were
doctors
working
today
on
like aren't
something.
experimenting
No.
on people enough.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, oh, here's the process. Here's the
Yeah.
drug. Um,
But I like the part with the gods where he said like where like pour some out for the gods really started was from that origin story. It
Ah,
made me
I
think
didn't
of
catch that.
like Connor with the shotguns, like pouring out half his beer
Yeah,
before
yeah,
starting. So I
nice.
was like cracking up. Um,
Oh, I didn't catch that one.
yeah, turns out Connor was just ahead of his time. Like he was just pouring it out for the gods. Like he probably
He's
knew the story.
he's paying getting the right tribute to the right gods.
Yeah, but
I liked a lot how he was talking about how like they would just have it in one shared vessel because like everyone was nervous that they were trying to poison each
I
other.
like the symposiums.
Not yet.
Okay.
Before that, like even beer, they were just drinking out of, like one big jug.
Yeah,
So that way, if you and your buddy were drinking it, if you're both drinking it, you feel confident that it's not poisoned.
yeah.
And then because they didn't really even have like cups and stuff,
No.
and then eventually he said that they got cups. Um, so what they would do was they would cheers, and then that was like the two cups coming together as one was like paying tribute to the time that they used to all drink it out of one thing. It's like
Yeah.
that's where cheersing came from. It was like, hey, I'm not like poisoning you, you're not poisoning me, we're cool here.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a cool fact.
I think he did a lot of that where it's like the origin stories and like things that we still use today like came from, the beginning of a lot of that
Yeah,
stuff, which is crazy.
I'm actually not a big cheers guy. Like
No.
I don't. I feel like the only time I really cheers if I'm out is like if I have nothing else to say to someone and I'm like with them and it's awkward. I'll be like, "Yeah, cheers, man," and then like just
Yeah.
like cut through some like awkward moments.
I think that's
But like,
fair too,
but
because
it's fun if it's like a group thing. But some people like really are like cheers people.
yeah, gotta have like a little speech too. Like can't do that.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm not trying to bring that kind of attention
No.
upon myself when I'm drinking. I'm just there
Yeah.
for the beers.
And then I guess just last notes that I had in here was that workers for like the pyramids were paid in like beer and bread.
Yeah, it was like the earliest writing was like some of
Yeah.
those like ledgers they had where they were paying pyramid workers in beer,
Yeah.
and other people. Maybe that's how they built the pyramids was paying people in beer.
People seem pretty pumped about it.
That's
Like,
motivating.
yeah.
People always like, how did they build these pyramids?
Yeah,
It might be as simple as that.
they were working harder.
Yeah, but yeah, I like the beer thing. Beer's cool, obviously.
And then wine.
Yeah, should I check some? I just want to make sure I don't have any other beer notes. I think we covered everything on beer. Um, yeah, yeah.
I thought the wine one was great. Like
Yeah,
I
last
love
thing I
the
was
wine
just
chapter.
beer still represents like friendly and non-pretentious social interaction.
Yeah,
It's like if you're having like a beer with your buddies, it's like very like kind of low key and chill,
yeah.
which kind of helps spin into the wine section, which like started to like separate like I think social classes
Classes,
started to
yeah.
separate a bit. But I'll let you kick off the wine.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely have that with the different social classes and the symposiums where like essentially people would get together and like, same thing, drink out of a big thing of wine and like different classes had different types of wine. Like there was like Falernian wine, which was like the
You
best of the best.
can't get better than Falernum.
Yeah. So like after I read that, like anytime I'm drinking wine, I'm like, is this Falernian?
This better be
Yeah.
Falernum.
But then I did look it up to see if I could get some. And
Still
it's like
around.
a white wine.
Mm,
So I didn't want it.
no, no, we don't need that.
But that would have been a special treat for the book club, but we'll have to save it for another day.
Symposiums were cool. The only problem with those is that they would just turn into orgies eventually.
I have that in here
And
as well.
he didn't mention how many girls were at these symposiums. I'm
Yeah.
guessing since
Mostly guys.
it was
Yeah.
ancient Greece. Girls weren't allowed at that time to kind of go to the symposiums and chill.
Yeah.
So it's probably an all guy orgy, which is
It was weird because he started and was like really hyping it up. Like these symposiums, I was ready to be like, hey, we got to bring these some symposiums back.
well, what he said was Plato used to like have like his
Yes,
good students
enlighten.
over to have
Yes.
enlightened
Yes.
conversations over some wine.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at us.
Yeah.
What are we doing
That's what
here?
we're doing right now.
Name one
Yeah.
thing different between us and Plato.
So yeah, I thought it was perfect, and yeah, I like the idea of it, and then yeah, kind of escalated into fights and orgies, and some of the bad aspects of alcohol and being hammer drunk with a bunch of other hammer drunk people.
Yeah,
But I think the idea of it was great.
I think the wine too is where it really started to change like the culture of the world too in terms of like production and distribution because you could like bottle it up and ship it places. So
Yeah,
then it was like, hey, certain regions could ship to certain places. So now like that region was kind of like known for drinking like certain wines. Which is why like Greece and Rome like
yeah,
and it like Greece and Italy have like a lot of like really good wine because they could grow it, but they couldn't like reach like Norway,
Yeah,
Finland, Sweden. This is why those countries like still today like just drink beer really. They're not like wine countries.
yeah,
It's like it really influenced a lot of like how people are able to like do business and like who was
yeah.
in each region, like traveling to and from and stuff. So it really kind of started like almost kind of started in a little bit of like global trade.
And the economics of the countries, yeah, exactly. Like the global trade aspect, which we'll get into more as like, countries started developing. But yeah, that started with really wine when they started being able to like ship at different places and made them like way more profitable. Like wine, again with the beer thing, it's like the timing of it's just crazy. That it's older than like written language. So
Yeah,
it's like we had wine before we could like, write our names.
that's crazy. And it kind of like I feel like the Greeks did too, because they were like I think a lot of the stuff the Greeks did, they were probably like drunk
Yeah,
and on a lot of drugs, but it's like they're thought of as like the best thinkers of like all time and best like philosophers, and a
yeah,
lot of it was probably like drunken wine
yeah,
night,
yeah,
symposium talk.
yeah.
Um, crap. Um, the social class stuff of wine is like I love wine, obviously. Great drink. The social class part of it, I'm not into at all.
Yeah, I didn't like
It
that.
started right away where it was like, oh, the good wines, like the elite people had,
Yeah.
the poor people, had kind of couldn't afford it. They had the shit wine.
Like Marcus Aurelius was drinking Falernum.
He's
Yeah.
he's gonna
And
drink
then
the
the
Falernum.
peasants are drinking. I mean, who knows what it is at that point? Obviously, it would still get them drunk because,
Yeah, well, they would water it down. Like if you didn't water down your wine, it was like barbaric, which is wild.
I didn't even catch that. Yeah, that's
So like
crazy.
there would be like different like mixtures would be like
Yeah.
with water. So like it would be like if you're classy, you would do like 10% wine and like 90% water.
Yeah.
And that way you wouldn't like
Get too drunk.
get too drunk against like
Yeah.
an orgy with like your best friends.
Yeah.
But if it
If you're a peasant.
then you start doing like 50-50, and
Yeah.
that's like that was like barbarian back
Yeah.
then. So I don't know how strong it was compared to what we have now,
And they also
but
just
I'm
like,
not putting water. Like
no,
we have no water here, but
no.
we got wine.
Yeah.
And
No need.
even today, like with people who like really, oh God, you're losing a dog.
Possibly. You might
Like
want to get back.
people who really like wine. Nah, don't even think about it. Good job. She was like, hopefully not chasing some kind of animal. Um, people who like, really like wine and are like snobby about it
Oh, it's the
upset
worst.
me.
Me too.
Like I like, I don't know anything about wine, so I'm sure like a $20 bottle is like the best. Like anything above that, I wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
But like people who are like, oh, I only drink like a certain type, or like
I think that's all drinks, but yeah, wine especially, you get the
there's some
most snobs.
weird snobby, but
Yeah,
like people do it with beer too, like the craft beer thing, a little
yeah,
bit.
like the IPAs
The
and
IPAs, which
yeah,
I like IPAs because they're effective,
yes.
but I wouldn't like
I wouldn't say it tastes better than like a Bud Light.
no, and it's just to each their own. Like drink what you like.
Yeah,
Like why are people trying to get down on other people for
for liking a certain type of
like if
drink
you
more than
like
another.
like a $5 bottle of wine and
Yeah,
go for it. Like why are you you're not better if you're drinking a $200 bottle of wine than anyone else, in my
yeah.
eyes.
Even though I feel a lot cooler though, sometimes when I have like a type of whiskey that'll be like, a single edition, and it'll literally taste the exact same. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not gonna
these
throw it in anyone's face, but like I'm gonna
true.
like I
My
was at Lauren Jake's house the other day and he had this like whiskey that had this like weird picture on the front and it was like a limited edition something.
okay.
And I'm sure he got it as like a gift. And I was just like, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. I,
But
I think
I
my
think you're right
views
though. That's like culturally that shouldn't be any
yeah.
cooler than any other whiskey.
My views might be of like a poor person who's not drinking all the cool stuff
No,
as
yeah.
much, but if I was on the other end, I'd probably be like a snob about it.
Yeah, like if you had $1 billion, would you still be buying Bullet or would you be like buying, you know,
It's a good question.
the $2,000 bottles?
I'd probably buy the expensive one just because I can, but I don't know if I would know the difference. Like
Yeah,
if you
I don't think
blind
you would.
tested me,
Yeah,
I think the thing that gets me with the wine people is I think unless you really know and you're like a sommelier, if you
yeah.
blind tested someone between like a $200 bottle and the $30 bottle, I think it would be like 50-50.
Oh, totally.
Everyone would just be guessing.
I
There,
totally agree.
no one would know at all.
And with the wine, you're talking about between like $12 and $50, you wouldn't even have a prayer.
Not a, no,
Yeah,
you'd be under 50%
yeah.
correct because you'd be trying to
You just
like
be guessing.
overcorrect.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I like the wine section a lot. Again, this was just like just fun topic to like kind of talk about and learn a little bit about. And now like I can't wait to be in social situations where if people are cheersing, I can be like, you guys know why we're cheersing right now, right? Like,
yeah,
this is about, and I can start just throwing facts in people.
yeah,
Be like, oh, this is what are we drinking wine here?
yeah.
Like,
Is this Valerian?
I think that's
Yeah.
all I had on the wine section.
There was like a little religious component, right? Like, didn't he talk about the religions a little bit, like
Talk about
Islam?
religion. Talk about that came. I have some stuff on that.
Yeah,
That
so
actually I have that next. He started to because I think essentially Muslims were like, uh, they,
against drinking.
yeah, they're like no to drinking.
Yeah. So like I thought that was in there too, and I can't remember whether this was in the book, but I did like do a little research on it because I think he mentioned essentially like the three main religions in the world
Hmm.
all come from like the same thing. It's like all of them come from the same person, which is like Abraham, which I didn't know. Like, did you know that?
No, but he like mentioned in this book it wasn't a religious book at all. Something about Muhammad
Okay.
that I wrote down.
See, maybe he said Muhammad, so I had to like
No,
look this up because I think he
pretty.
mentioned something about religion and mentioned something about that. So I was like, let me like look that up, but I didn't wasn't sure if it was in the book. What did he say about Muhammad?
I think Muhammad was like the prophet. Like he was
Yeah.
like the guy.
And he was like, we're not drinking wine.
I think eventually he was, but basically what he's this guy in the book said, and I'd never known this before, was Muhammad's like 40 years old. He has a vision that
Yeah.
Allah, I don't know the right pronunciation,
Yeah.
told him a bunch of stuff,
Okay.
and he started Islam based
Yes.
on that. And
So
I said, that sounds a lot like the Mormons.
it
And
does.
the Mormons get made fun of a lot for that, and the Muslims don't.
Well, it's like
But
every
is that
religion.
true?
So like here's what I found out. So Abraham was like the first guy. And
Abraham was a real guy.
yes,
Yeah.
and his wife and him, Sarah, uh essentially God was talking to Abraham.
Yep.
And
Yep.
like God told him to like leave the land and then he did. And then he was like rewarded with a son. And then God told
Mhm.
him to like sacrifice his son as like a test of faith.
Yep.
And then he didn't. And then last minute, God was like, you can actually just like kill one of your bulls instead. So then that son is Isaac,
Hmm.
who started Judaism. So that
Wow.
was his first son. He continued it. It was with his wife, Sarah. Jesus then came along, was related to Isaac.
Oh, they're related.
Yes.
Oh.
And then Muslim was Muhammad, who was Abraham's son with the barmaid.
Oh, so he was a little
So like
side action
yes.
son.
Yes. So like literally Abraham
So also,
started every religion through his sons, through three different sons.
so they just kind of went off and started different
I guess
religions.
Jesus wasn't one of his sons, but Jesus was not related to all of them,
And that's like somehow propelling like,
which is why Jesus was Jewish, because he was related to Isaac.
and that's somehow propelling like every war
Yeah.
and everything that's happening in the
Yeah.
world right now,
So it's literally like they're almost like family. It's like all the same family.
which is crazy.
Insane.
That's no, so we're having some dog issues over here. If there's some blank spots, it means I'm making sure my dog didn't run away. Um, she's trying to.
But yeah,
That's so like Mormons get made fun of nonstop
because it's
because
just so much more recent. Because like
there's a yeah there's less like aura around it of
the
like
guy was like a real guy that was like a documented fiction writer, the Mormons, right? That guy was like, I think he was the most published
that's the
author.
Scientology guy.
Oh, that's Scientology.
Same thing,
Oh,
kind of.
Mormons was
The tablets.
Yeah, and Joseph Scott
Yeah,
or
John
Joseph.
Smith, Joseph
Yeah,
Smith.
so Joseph. We got it.
There you go.
Put it together. We
Um,
do have a couple of books on the Mormons, like on the want to
Maybe we
read
should do a
list.
religion book soon because clearly
Yeah,
our grasp of these things is not great.
yeah, we're gonna have to
Like
really be
I,
locked in for that.
I didn't know Muhammad was like that was like a part of it or that and then he just went on to like have a 6-year-old wife and stuff, which maybe we'll save for a different
Yeah, it was like they all had these different ideas, I guess, of like how to live, but it seems the whole thing seems very odd. I didn't know they were all that tied together though by like one guy.
I didn't know it was like that. That's
Yeah.
crazy. We're gonna have to learn more on that.
Yeah, and all that could be totally wrong, as with anything we say, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, I believe you. It seems like you did
No.
good research there.
All right, so then after that was tea next?
Spirits,
Spirits.
hard liquors.
I didn't write too much for that.
I didn't either. I thought a lot of this was like again kind of like it came after and a lot of it was like increasing the like means of production, so I guess popular in the 1400s, um which is like almost not recent, but you thought
Comparatively.
yeah, like you would think it's been around for like thousands of years,
Yeah.
hard alcohol, but it hasn't. um
I also think we need a book on that, like the whole timeline and like
of everything.
yeah, because
um
like the time thing seems like we still don't have a good understanding of that. Like seems like every week in science a new story comes out where it'll be like there was actually humans like 50,000 years ago, and then like 100,000 years ago, and then it's like maybe even a million years ago, and it's
yep,
just everything seems to be changing with that.
clearly they don't know. If we don't know what happens in the news today,
Yeah,
there's no way we know what happened a million years ago.
yeah,
So it's all just like it's literally all just made up.
yeah,
Um, but again, like there was a lot of medicinal uses for spirits early on. He told the story of Charles the Bad, who was the king who was paralyzed. So they had tried to put like liquor all over him, and then
yeah,
they accidentally dropped a candle on him, and he lit on fire. Thought that was pretty good. Um, it started a lot of like the international trade of like people because there was like sugar involved.
yeah.
So they started to like the slave trade and do all of that. He did mention that the Portuguese were the first to sell slaves from the west coast of Africa,
I did catch that as
and I
well.
was like
Yeah,
shocked by that fact. Like
yeah,
Portuguese have got off easy on
yeah,
that one. Like
yeah.
no one's going after the Portuguese for starting slavery in
No,
the modern Western world.
yeah.
Everyone's talking about it here. I'm sure the UK gets a bunch of flack
I bet
for
a
it,
lot. Yeah,
and the South in America gets a lot of flack for
yeah.
it. But
I think it's also
the
weird.
Portuguese,
I know. Well, I think the Portuguese, from what I've seen in my
is
personal life, don't get along very well with African Americans.
that so?
I think so. I think Portuguese are like incredibly racist.
Do you think it dates back to the time of the early
I
spirits?
don't know. I've only known a couple of true like Portuguese people, but yeah, it's they're not the best with that, I'll say that.
No, not at all. And that's what like people were they started to bring slaves here to get like
The money.
sugar
Yeah.
for the alcohol, like to for creating more and more of it. So that's crazy. So that's even a thing. And then I think the last thing I had on hard alcohol was the taxation of rum led, really started to piss people off because they didn't want to get taxed. And then that eventually led to the Tea Party
Yeah.
and the American Revolution, which I
Yeah.
thought was a cool fun fact.
It was. And I think like he didn't go too much into depth into it. It was just kind of like what you need to know about it, which I think is like better than
Amazing.
yeah, like I think a lot of the history books, it's like they do so much with it when it's literally just like a simple thing. Like he made it seem
Mhm.
like the whole war would have never happened if, the British were just kind of like a little bit willing, with the taxes.
Just ease up on those
Yeah.
taxes. That's even true today.
And then I think
Ease
there was
up
like,
on us.
yeah, then they had like a chance to do it again. They didn't take the chance, and it was just like then from there it was like the full Civil War.
It's crazy that like back then it was like if you tax our rum, we are going to kill every single one of
Yeah,
you. Now it's
I
like
know. And
we're
taxes
gonna
on
tax
everything.
your same paycheck 5 times across. And
Yeah,
when you make money, when you buy something, when you
yeah,
earn more money on
yeah,
that, when you save money, when you die,
yeah.
you're gonna get taxed on everything, and everyone's like, "That's cool."
It's hilarious too, because it'll literally be like for like at least rent, I'll get an email every year, like due to the cost of living,
Mm,
like we're raising
yeah.
like your rent, and it's just like, what about the cost of my living?
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
making my cost of
yeah.
living go up.
And it's like I go and forget a haircut, and it'll be like due
Oh,
to possible inflation and the rise in costs, haircuts are more expensive. It's like everything's more expensive except what I make for my job.
yeah,
Like
somehow that's the
yeah,
one thing
yeah.
that
Like we
we can
didn't,
manage the
yeah,
cost on a little
yes.
bit.
Like we didn't get a letter being like, hey guys, like due to the rising cost of everything, we're gonna actually pay you guys a little bit more money so you can afford to do things.
Yeah,
That's like the only thing that seems like that hasn't changed.
that's why I don't get haircuts anymore, and you know this. I
Yeah,
mean, went from $15 to
20.
18 to the
Yeah,
20s to the 30s to close to 40 within like 3 years.
yeah.
Um, I won't have it. I won't have that.
And I feel like in order for you to like look good with a haircut, it's like you really got to get one like every 2 to 3 weeks.
Right.
Like you could stretch a month, but it's like if you're going a month, you're going like purposely shorter than you actually want it to be so that you can reach that month. If you were actually like getting a haircut of like what you actually wanted, like to walk out of the barbershop being like, this is my
Right.
hair at its best, you'd have to get one like every 2 to 3 weeks.
It,
Probably two
it's
weeks.
it's officially psychotic to go to a barber, sit in a chair, and just stare at yourself for 30 straight minutes
Yeah.
while they like cut your hair when you can just do it at home.
Yeah, when there's a flow be
You get a flow bean, you
one
get a
time fee.
buzzer,
Yeah.
one time fee, and that thing's paying for itself
Yeah.
quick.
I'll get a haircut and then I'll cut my own hair 2 to 3 times between the next
And
haircut.
then you go and like reset it
Yeah.
back to normal.
So like even it's like not even that long yet, but like I'm gonna go home probably after this, after having a few drinks, get the buzzer out.
That's a good time to buzz.
Yes, I'll leave the
No
top,
offense.
and then sides are going back short, and then I'll do that one more time. But then like if I push it to that third, it's a potential disaster. And that happened to me a couple weeks ago.
Right now, I'm working on a real bad, one of my worst haircuts,
Yeah.
self haircuts.
It like it hurts
And
more than getting a bad haircut because you did it to yourself.
I like, because Amy will be like, oh, like, let me help you fix it. And I'll be like, no, because then
Yeah.
I'm not going to learn how to do it better. So, like, I need to live with this for the next
Yes.
3 to 4 weeks until I'm ready to
Yeah.
recut it.
My
And then
bad one
hopefully next
was
time is better.
I was like getting ready to go somewhere at like maybe like 12 o'clock and like I started cutting my hair at 11:15. And it's like when you start cutting your hair and you got a strict out time, it's a real problem. You know?
You don't want to be in a
You don't
rush
want
when
to be
you're doing
rushing.
that
Yeah.
because it's a serious endeavor.
It's just
It's hard because you can't really see everything. Like I just have one mirror, so I'm guessing in the back.
oh me
I'm
too.
guessing on the
Totally
sides.
guessing.
But I think that's a tangent. But the price is just insane.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's alcohol. I mean, beer, wine, and hard liquor had a huge impact on the world. Still does today.
Yeah.
I like all three. I definitely drink a lot less hard liquor now than I did at a certain time in my life.
Same.
Every once in a while, I'll have to have a nice like glass of whiskey or something is nice.
Yeah.
Um, but I remember last time I had like vodka or anything like that.
So I'm not opposed to it. I'll do like a mixed drink, but yeah, I feel like when you get older, it definitely gets tougher, and it's like I feel like you feel the hard alcohol more the next day. Like it takes longer to
Yeah.
hit you. It hits you
Certain
harder.
things like IPAs will do that a little bit too.
Yeah.
If you go crazy on them,
Yeah.
if you don't drink water,
Yeah.
they'll really crush you.
But like a nice bottle of wine, it's like you could have half a bottle of wine and be like in a really good spot, really good drunk, and then not wake up feeling like shit the
You'll be
next day.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he pivots. He switches over to coffee, tea, which are kind of like similar.
Yeah.
Coffee's another one. Like coffee rules. I think he said it was invented in like the 1600s, which was surprising to me. I thought it was like way older than that.
And they pretty much replaced like the symposiums and all that. So it's like instead of people going getting
Mm,
hammered and having these intellectual conversations, people go to coffee houses, drink coffee like in a more sober state of mind and have
yep.
like a lot of the same conversations. I think she wants to go in.
Yeah, I let her in. Which is like very similar to, and then because like the people in charge started to get upset because now people at coffee houses and cafes are like, they're talking to each other, they're plotting,
Yes.
they're learning about what's going on, they're complaining, which, people in power don't like. So it was like
Yeah.
very similar to like pubs in the American Revolution where people will
Yeah.
get drunk or just be hanging out together and like, hey, this is like bullcrap that like this is
Yeah.
happening.
It's crazy, like in those smaller groups though, like instead of having like a situation now where it's like you're so disconnected between who's in charge and government officials and it's like you're not even in the same area. Like back then it'd be like, they all kind of like knew each other. And if they were unhappy with the job someone was doing, they'd be like talking about it in a coffee house and then like someone else would tell that person. It was like you're in such a smaller community that like you could actually do something about it. Like now if we went to a coffee house and we started talking politics, like like we're not gonna see Nancy Pelosi walking down the street today and be like, "Hey, we're pretty unhappy about your investments."
Oh,
Like it's
I was
never
having,
getting to
we
her.
are happy about,
Yeah,
you know,
recently.
this week wasn't great, but
Yeah.
um,
But like back then, like the smaller communities and all that stuff, it'd be like if you were talking shit in a coffee house, like about who was in power, like it would reach them the next day because like
true.
everyone knew everyone.
I think the problem now is if you did it, like everyone would just like look at you like there's a crazy person here. Like I'm
Like if you were
surprised just
talking,
like talking about like politics like in a coffee house to like everyone here.
it's
Like
also
people don't
weird.
talk to any like you don't talk to
Yeah.
strangers.
It's also weird that everyone's taught those rules, like you don't talk politics, you don't talk religion. And it's a little bit like, why would you not?
Should be the only things that you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Like if they're contributing to like your unhappiness or your happiness, like why can't you talk about it?
It's what runs the world. So like to not talk about it is to just allow it
Yeah, to continue. But it's like if
to
someone
continue.
was ultra religious and I wasn't, and they started like talking about God and how happy they are being religious, I would like why would I care about that? Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I fucking hate this
I
guy's.
would want to know more. I'd be like,
Yeah,
you seem
yeah,
good right now.
yeah.
Let
Tell me
me
more about this religion.
yeah, like do you know Abraham? Like,
You know the story?
yeah, let me tell you about this little guy named Abraham. Um, I mean, I like coffee. Um, in Europe, like it became like really super popular in like I think it was Turkey and Europe,
Which
where
is
they
why
kind
they
of
have the
first started.
best coffee.
That's why they have the best coffees. Like I think people in Europe even now like they'll have like 4 to 5 espressos a day,
Yeah,
like all day every day, which is kind
seems
of
like a lot.
kind of crazy. Like if I have a second coffee in the afternoon, it's like rare.
They're also drinking during the day too, which probably offsets. Like if you have a
You get
glass of
tired
wine
from
and you
the
have an espresso, yeah,
then
then it cancels each other out.
you're at zero.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
Maybe because I do like coffee. Like I like the smell. Like you smell like a cup of coffee in the morning.
It's just like
It's
America doesn't do things responsibly. Like we're not gonna drink a little bit of coffee throughout the entire day. We're gonna get
like it's 32-ounce
yes,
Starbucks,
yes, or
something.
like I have like a cold brew that has probably like 300 milligrams of caffeine, and I just pretty much chug it and then start my day.
Just and then be like, okay, now I'm ready to like
Yeah.
see people and do stuff. No, that makes sense. I mean, yeah. Let's see what else I have about coffee. Not like Muslims also didn't like coffee. Like they were
No,
anti-alcohol and coffee.
they don't like anything that I guess changes your state of mind
Pretty much anything that we've talked about so far,
that we
this
like.
that we like,
Yeah.
they don't like.
They also, I feel like, don't really go to the gym either.
That's a problem for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, do you see many Muslim people at your gym?
I don't, but is that like
Do you see many Jack Muslims walking around?
like is that a second order effect of like the demographic of our
Area?
area or but I do agree like online I don't see any jacked Muslims, but I'll see jacked people of
People,
all other shapes.
yeah. Yeah, it just seems like it's not a priority for them, which, to each his own. But yeah, they seem to have very different interests. I mean, those are probably, we've talked about it before, drinking, coffee, going to the gym,
That's all you need.
watching sports.
Sports are cool.
And I think they do a bit of that with soccer.
Yeah, they get into the soccer.
Yeah,
So they have that, but like sober soccer?
yeah, UK wouldn't have it.
They would no, they would not have it. Only other thing I had on coffee was we was talking about like how like only men were allowed at the coffee houses at first, and like they would spend so much time at the coffee house that the actual like human race was in danger of becoming extinct because they wouldn't be with their wives ever.
Yeah,
So they would just be drinking coffee all day, every day with their boys.
yeah,
Um, which is wild that it got to that level.
yeah. I think that it's hard to see those things at scale. Like you have these problems and then you like don't think it's an issue until like it becomes an issue. Like I know like Joe
True.
Rogan talks a lot about like Japanese like population decline is like in large part due to like guys just being like, no, I don't want to hang out with girls, so like I just want to play video games all day.
Yeah.
And like that seems like not a real problem. Seems like
Mm.
that could not possibly like I would think that people would just adapt. Like women would just adapt to like then also start playing video games and then hanging out and meeting that way and then you have kids that like from there. But
There, people in general are in trouble in terms of like the population rates and like fertility rates.
yeah,
Like it's not at a sustainable pace right now, supposedly.
I mean, well, it's like we were saying with the money now is like crazy. Like
People won't
here,
have
it's just too
kids. There
expensive.
was a George Friedman who, next 100 years, like kind of talked about how the people used to have 70 kids because they would like eventually just be working for you, and they
Yeah.
like you would have more
Oh
money
yeah,
if you got
yeah,
more kids.
yeah,
And eventually it switched where now kids just cost you money,
yeah,
and now you can only have so many. So you have
yeah,
to think like, all right, should I have one or two?
yeah.
I don't know if I can do that.
And the cost just makes it where it's like now you can't even spend time with your kids because it's like you're now gonna both have to have a job to pay for daycare and to pay for these kids. And then it's like they're just in daycare, school. You're not getting back till,
The daycare
5:30.
cost is this more than what people are probably making. So
Yeah.
like at
And
that point, just stay home,
yeah,
and then you're saving money.
it's like close. It's like close to
It's like a full rent,
yeah,
essentially. It's like a
yeah.
second paying two rents if you pay rent.
I guess it depends on what you do for work, but yeah, it's for a lot of people, yeah, it's just
It's
it's crazy
or
and
or it's like 50 or more percent of like one income,
yeah,
which is
I
nuts.
know. And then to think about multiple kids and having three, four, five kids, and it's just like, yeah, now you literally can't afford it.
So why you need to have the community around you where you're kind of all just sharing those responsibilities and taking care of the kids together,
Yeah,
and not, it doesn't exist anymore,
yeah,
unfortunately, especially I think in Europe they're probably still doing some of that.
yeah.
It's the communities, the coffee, everyone's coming together, drinking wine during the day,
I heard on
taking naps all the time and stuff.
I listened to the Joe Rogan Elon Musk one,
Hmm.
and on that he was talking about how the UK is like throwing people in jail. Like I think he said it was like
Yeah,
12,000 people for
memes.
memes and tweets.
That's insane.
Insane. So I don't know what's going on over there right now.
It's not all better over there. It's not. Most of it's worse. Like they don't have
Yeah,
air conditioning yet, which is a
in
concern.
UK.
Like Europe, like all their stuff is like awful compared to America.
Yeah,
Like the showers are like stupid, the toilets don't work,
yeah.
air conditioning, like I mean they have it, but
They haven't figured it out.
it's not like here where it's like standard
Yeah,
type of stuff. Um, so they're not all the way there, but some stuff that they've carried from the old times is probably good.
I think they're at the forefront of some things. Like I know they got rid of daylight savings, which is
Smart.
so smart.
Smart. It's
Like
killing me this week.
I'm like driving back from the gym at like 4:45 and it's pitch black.
PM,
Yeah,
the worst.
yeah.
That absolutely terrible.
And then it's like it'd be like, oh, it's nicer because like you're not driving to work in the dark. It's like I'm driving to work. Why would I care whether it's dark
I
or
don't care
light?
if it's dark or light in the morning.
Yeah,
I prefer dark because it's morning.
yeah.
I don't need light in the morning.
No,
Like, but if it is and that makes it better at night, then that's cool too. But like,
yeah.
give me light till 8 p.m.
They should do the opposite. So like instead of taking away an hour from the PM where it's like it's getting dark
Mm.
earlier, they should actually take it from the AM and give it to the PM.
That's how you
So
gotta do
like,
it.
yeah, I'd rather be dark at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it's gonna be light out till 8, then I'm fine with that. It can be dark at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Because that'll keep people at home and stuff too. So if I'm like doing weird stuff in the morning, which is when I do a lot of stuff,
Bronze, yeah,
everyone's not seeing me,
yeah.
which I
Like
like.
you're out there barefoot, front yard,
I'm
doing
gonna
some grounding.
I'll wake up early and like go for a run in the dark. That
Yeah.
way no one can watch me running or anything.
It's also like I feel like more rewarding when you do that. Like sometimes I'll just be like at fully field and it'd be like not for a while, but like it'd be like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. and it's pitch black and no one's there. and you just like feel such a sense of like
It's
it's more rewarding.
it's a really good feeling like running outside in the morning, which I just started doing a little bit
Yeah.
before it got too cold. Um, yeah, you really it can be scary because like I'll run around the corner and there'll be like a huge buck just like
Oh yeah.
staring at me and I'm like sprinting at it
Yeah.
and I'm like
You're in the elements, yeah.
I'm out there and I'm like
Yeah.
thank God this thing is not scared of me and because annihilating me.
Charging you.
You're right. So I'm just turning around the corner and I'm like, headphones in, just sprinting.
And what would we do as a society if it was to attack you? I would say we don't want to overreact, but we can't have these bucks charging our runners.
Middle of the street at 4 in the morning. It's pitch black out. Um,
We haven't handled the deer situation well at all here. Like I heard some, and it's like in the whole Northeast, like Connecticut, I think has a bigger problem than we do, and
there's so many here. I like them.
but it's like a
They're
billion
cool.
dollars of damage a year is what the deer costs.
But
Because it's like cars,
are
they're eating
they
all your plants.
the plants? But like, so this is the debate I have because I'll eat some of my plants. And then I'm like, who am I to say, dictate what animals, where they can and can't go, what they can and can't eat? Like I'm like, why am I in
Yeah,
charge of that for them?
but also then it's like you
It's like
also
we're in
can't
their territory.
you can't pick your animals though either because of like town's weird rules. Like if you wanted to get a bunch of goat, sheeps, to essentially trim your lawn so you never have to mow it.
Now
They,
I'm listening.
yeah, they probably hate Pachysandra. So anytime a Pachysandra comes up,
They'd eat that.
the sheep are gonna go crazy. But it's like Ridgewood probably won't let you do that.
That's a problem for me too.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Like I think we should be able to live cohesively with
If I wanted to get a pet
animals.
deer in Ridgewood, do you think I could? It's like they want to tell us, which ones we can have and which ones they can't. But then it's like the deer, they have no handle on this situation.
They don't. I saw the craziest stream the other night that I was walking a deer and we saw we saw Rosie on our walk. 'Cause like Rosie and I will always see deers when
Oh
we're
my
walking
God, it's some
around.
sort of role reversal.
I woke up just drenched in sweat.
You
Like
didn't care for it.
it was just so weird because it was so realistic. One of those like crazy dreams which I have every night. Like
Yeah,
last night I woke up, or the baby woke up, and then like I'll change her. I'll give the baby to Amy, and I was just literally soaking wet as if I
yeah.
jumped out of a pool from sleeping.
Do you think
And she's like,
it's,
"What is wrong? Like, what's happening?" I'm like, "I don't know. I think I had a dream."
yeah. Do you think like this is kind of a newer thing? You think it's because you're more like sleep deprived with the baby?
No, this is all.
This is always a thing.
This has been going. I used to think it was alcohol related,
Yeah.
like withdrawals and stuff, but I kind of like I don't really drink that much anymore.
I wonder what that means. Like
I'm
we could
just
probably chat GBT. Like
I'm having wild dreams like that. Like if you're having a dream where you're walking a deer and you see your dog on that walk,
it's weird that
it's
you
gotta mean
remember
something.
it too.
That one I like somehow remember really like really vividly, and that one I thought was really funny.
Like I'll wake up sometimes and just be like, oh my God, like thank God it was a dream. But then I'll like not even remember what it was. So it's like,
Yeah, that happens.
yeah,
But yeah, like mine aren't even scary usually. They're just like really like vivid and like intense or something.
yeah.
Um,
We do know though, like, from our other books, it's like that's your body trying to tell you something though.
that's telling me that
Yeah.
I have some
Yeah.
issues I need to work out in the
Yeah, for
real
sure.
world. It's my subconscious.
It's really putting you through the ringer when you go to sleep.
It is, yeah. But back to the book. He is a veteran.
It's I don't know how we got there.
That's why when you brought up deer, I was like, I can't like can't wait to tell about the dream I had about deer. That's why I started laughing.
I don't even know where deer came from now, to be
Neither
honest.
do
And you're
I.
talking about tea. All right, so back to
I
tea.
had my first note on tea is that tea is kind of gay.
Yeah, it also was like incredibly profitable. It seemed like that was like kind of the
Well,
start of the economic thing, where it was
it
like,
was also later, way later than I thought, like 16, 1700s, which
yeah,
I thought people in like China and Japan would have been drinking tea for like like thousands of
same.
years.
And he made it seem like that was like a big part of the UK's rise to like global
Yep,
dominance was the money that they were making from tea was like astronomical.
yep.
And then all of a sudden, like China started getting involved and other countries started getting involved, and they actually like,
They built a whole culture around
yeah.
tea in China and Japan where there's
So it's
like,
kind of like a big deal. So that was another part of like the American thing is like,
is that where he had like if you were having like a literal tea party, like you'd have like certain guests like sit in certain seats and places and stuff like that. So like it was like a very like cultural thing to do where like
Yeah,
if you were like sit into a certain seat at a tea party, it it was either like a sign of respect or like
yeah.
disrespect versus like
Which I
benefiting.
hate. Like I hate all that
Saying
stuff.
that's like saying
Yeah,
on the wine
yeah.
stand.
But I do remember now, like what I was saying before with the Tea Party was like England was ready to step down about like the colonists, like with the tax. And then
Mm.
these tea corporations were making so much money
It was
that
like
they,
the East India Tea
yes,
Company,
yes.
the
And
big
they were
guys.
like literally almost like running the government because they were bringing in so much money. So they like told the politicians and like, I guess the king there, queen maybe, they told one of them
One of
like,
those made up
yeah, like
people.
you're not backing down from this. Like, screw the colonists. Like
Mm.
they're paying the tax. And then like UK was kind of like in a tough position where it was like it'd be like if all of our Fortune 500 companies got together and like said,
Right.
for the government to do something, I promise you they're fucking doing
Let's see what I did wrong here. You gotta let the arms go.
it. Yeah, you can't hold those down.
I was holding them. You could be in real trouble.
But yeah, so I thought that was interesting just from that standpoint of like really the East India tea companies, like the ones to blame for, you know,
Almost like the whole globalization. Like that was
yeah.
globalization. Like really started there with the tea
Like if I was in the
and like
UK,
the UK
yeah,
empire.
like you're not number one anymore. And you're trying to figure out like how the hell are we not number one anymore? East India Tea Company.
That
Like that'd be enemy number one for me.
they were, and then they also had like the medicinal part of tea where doctors were like prescribing tea,
Yeah.
and then like certain doctors were prescribing like
Oh
what
yeah, like 20 glasses a
like
day.
50 cups a day. They're like
Yeah.
you can go up to 200 cups of tea a
Yeah.
day, and then it finally they found out that the East India Tea Company was like paying doctors to
Yeah.
say that,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh,
Still going on.
this all sounds very
Yeah.
close to home.
I think that's the history part that's always the case. I mean, it's we brought him up a couple of times now with the next 100 years, like how just
Mm.
history continually repeats itself.
We'll just keep making the same mistakes over and
Yeah.
over again. If people aren't reading books like this, I mean, we can't do it all.
No.
We're out here reading and spreading the word, but if other people aren't reading or listening to books, we're just gonna keep repeating.
Even if they are, there's also very little I feel like we can actually do about a lot of these problems. It's like people can acknowledge them and know them, but it's like it's you can't really do too much about it, you know? Like if I was like, all right, we got to stop letting these corporations essentially make political decisions.
I'd say stop buying stuff. I was I was thinking about this actually today.
If you did, yeah, I guess if you did,
Is that like
everyone would have to commit them.
don't want to at all. I don't want to do this, but I think I have to run for president because no one is better at not spending money than me.
Yeah,
And we clearly have a spending crisis in
yeah,
the United States. So much money's going around. We don't know where it's going.
yeah,
I'm gonna run and just say I'm not gonna do anything for 4 years
yeah,
except not spend money.
yeah,
I'm gonna make an inaugural speech, and you're not gonna know where I am for the next 4 years.
yeah,
And in 4 years, we'll check in, and I'll say this is how much money we saved, and I'll give everyone a check of all the
yeah.
money we didn't spend, of their money that we didn't spend,
Love it.
and I'll say all the other problems that happened in the last 4 years
Yeah,
is for the next guy.
yeah.
I don't care.
I'm gonna do one thing.
We're gonna do because everyone doesn't solve anything
No,
ever. So like I'll solve one thing,
yeah.
and I'll say
I think that's actually a brilliant idea.
right, like how much is the government's budget in a year divided by how many people are in the country? Like, could they just give everyone like $1 million a year, probably?
I would think, yeah, probably.
Right? Like, why not just give
Yeah,
every citizen $1 million and be like, go figure it out for yourself?
yeah.
Instead of like it
Now,
doesn't make sense.
if you gave every citizen $1 million, though, what is $1 million now worth?
Well,
And no one,
everyone's still making their money,
everyone's still
doing
making their
everyone's still
money.
doing their own thing, but instead
But
of
if everyone got a check for $1 million, the inflation on that cost of bread.
all right, save the $1 million checks and then just stop the taxing
I like that.
to a certain degree.
Off of, everyone gets no taxes until that all that money goes into a fund. That money collects money. And that money now
It's interest on
is
interest.
yes, is what yes, is what we're gonna essentially use to like, you know, pave the roads and do this and do that.
Right. And I would say even for 4 years, we're not even going to do that.
Every
I
job is
don't care about
just
your roads.
yeah,
Your
every
roads
job is
might
just
suck for
so
four
stupid now.
years.
Like
Everyone's job is fake
yeah,
and stupid.
like I could probably pave every road.
Like you just got $1 million check, like pave
Yeah.
your own. Like you're gonna talk to the government. You want the government to do that for you? Like,
Yeah.
come on,
I think like yeah, forget like power to the states. Give the
take it all
power
back.
back
Back
to
to
the
the people.
towns.
Back to the towns.
Yes. Let everyone have a town council.
Yep.
That town council anyone can go to
Yep.
every single week.
I'm in. I'm in
And
still.
they decide, they vote on what they want to do with their money.
And it has to. And it's very transparent what
Yes.
money they have and where it's going.
And if you're sitting
Like a
on
public
that
company,
town
you have to
council, yes.
publish your financial statements.
Yes. Yes.
Done.
Yeah.
You can't just like print money
Yes.
sometimes and then just like ask everyone for more money.
And then
Not even
these
ask to
crooked like
tax it.
councilmen all of a sudden are like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm funding this or I'm
No.
doing this.
Like if you're a councilman and all of a sudden
Like
you
I should
added
be
an
able to
addition onto your
walk.
house,
Yeah.
I could come to
Yes.
your house with the pipe
Yeah.
and F shit up.
Well, I wouldn't take it that far,
Okay.
but I would say we should be able to almost like walk into their house, go on their computer, check their bank statements.
And just like
Like you're a town councilman. You
yeah,
signed up for
that's
this.
public.
Yes, this
That's
is all
that
public
should
information.
that all needs to be public.
Yeah.
All right. So we just solved most of the world's problems while talking about tea.
Yeah.
Um I think that was it I had on tea.
Um,
Should we move on to soda? I think soda's number six.
yeah. Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola specifically. I thought it was a little embarrassing that he's talked a lot about how I haven't
Got
seen
a
a
big
bee.
cup.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen a bee since it got cold, and now all of a sudden
You know what it is? It's the wine.
it's the homemade
It's the
wines.
homemade wine. There.
Once the wine came out,
What do you mean?
the bee came second the wine
Oh
came
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
Um, he was kind of saying that like Coca-Cola is like the number one like representative of like American culture
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I was like, well, that kind of sucks.
It does, and again, it was the same thing with the tea, where it's like the East India Company essentially got tied to the government and had all this influence. And Coca-Cola was making so much goddamn money, they essentially got tied to the government. It's kind of the reason why people say like beverage companies, like you can't make a new beverage and almost like make it.
You
It's
can't.
only a matter of time until the best case scenario is like Coca-Cola and that conglomerate
Hmm.
essentially buys you out for
Buys
like
you,
$50 billion and now they
or
own
they
it.
just copy it
Yeah,
and kind of like change like
yeah.
one ingredient or something. It's in weird. Um, yeah, so it was. I thought it was interesting. They got like this contract, Coca-Cola, with the United States government during World War II to like essentially send Coca-Cola, or maybe it was Vietnam, one of those two wars, to like essentially ship like Coca-Cola to all the soldiers, and that
Right.
was like a huge thing that like for the country.
Yeah.
But I was like, so taxpayer money is just funding Coca-Cola
Yeah.
at that point to like send all the Coca-Colas over,
Yeah.
overseas. There's another interesting like origin story where like the guy, I think the myth is that he was like a
It
doctor.
was medicine,
He
yeah.
was experimenting. Another doctor at least trying.
Real coca leaves. So it was essentially
Yeah,
cocaine. Like the original Coca-Cola was essentially like cocaine
it was
and
coca,
sugar.
which is the coca leaves, and then
Yeah.
cola was something which I kind of forget. Um, and he was like, trying to like find a cure for headaches by like making
Yeah.
this thing, and then I think eventually it like caught on, and there was a few people that like didn't want to do it, and then eventually they started to like make more of it, and people liked it.
And it had like alcohol in it, I think at first, maybe. I don't know actually.
And I think there's some iterations did.
Like the original one, I just remember they had to like essentially change it so much to get to where we are now, but
Yeah, it has nothing like the original one had nothing to do with like
no.
what you would get today.
But I guess the basic concept of like coca leaves, a ton of sugar and syrup.
The original syrups were like strawberries and like fruits and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So they would like kind of make like real legit like flavors and stuff. Um, yeah, but Coca-Cola, kind of just became this like huge, entity on its own. Eventually they found out that it was like not good for you, and then, or at least, certain later iterations of it, and they banned, weren't allowed to like advertise directly to kids at a certain point, so then
Yeah.
instead they just like put Santa Claus in all their ads, which
Yeah.
is like pretty evil. Because you're just kind of skating around those rules that were meant to
Yeah.
protect kids, and you're just trying to like um, kill kids. I thought the most interesting thing was um, Coca-Cola is the second most commonly known phrase in the world after okay.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's that's horrible
Yeah.
and insane.
Yeah. It was like, and I've heard people say stuff like that before. It's like people wouldn't know like a president's name, but they'd know like Coca-Cola or,
Yep. Yep.
which is, yeah, I think it goes to what we were saying before, Joe, though, just like the different, you don't really know what goes on a day-to-day basis in these other countries.
It's a lot different.
Yeah.
But like, all right, say you're a CEO of Coca-Cola
Yeah.
or McDonald's. You're responsible for the death and trauma hundreds of millions of people every year. Are you like the worst person in the world? Like, who's worse than
I think you
that?
get so probably caught up. It was kind of the same thing with
Do
the
they not
Sacklers.
know?
I think the Sacklers are like an extreme version of that because the Sacklers took something that already existed, opium, and pretty much like put it into a pill form that they knew was going to be completely addicted, and then like bribe doctors to essentially prescribe it as much as possible.
For sure.
Like that already existed. You already knew the outcome. And then they kind of claim that they just get caught up in the business side of it of like, I'm a CEO, my job is to make money.
But 100%. But I think if everyone, like, if you were to talk to people, you told them the story of the Sacklers,
I
they'd
bet
be
like,
like, those
yeah, yeah.
people are evil,
I bet like
right?
oh, totally. But I
But
don't think people would say that about Coca-Cola.
they would say like, oh,
They
this
invented
is a
something great.
or whoever's the CEO now is like a role model. Like he's like
Yeah,
or he or she is like amazing businessman who made it, to the top of like a big awesome
yeah,
corporation. Like
yeah.
no one would be like, this is kills so many people.
I
It's
know.
responsible for so much death and destruction, more so than almost any other one thing, like Coke and McDonald's.
Yeah.
And as everyone's like, yeah, like this stuff is awesome.
I think
Like we're cool with that.
I think intent matters on that stuff. And I think for like McDonald's, I think the original intent was to just sell something cheaper. It's almost like your intent
Well,
was
again, like yeah,
was
the
good.
the intent was good. Like McDonald's originally was like a real burger, and
Yeah.
like fries were like potatoes.
But then
Like
they have to keep up
and
and keep going cheaper.
right, but like okay, we are in a different place now. Like, can we not all like rethink things through and be like, hey, everyone's dying.
I think once you give someone something, you can't take it away. Like once they made haircuts $35,
I'm not going back
it's never going back
to
to
15. Yep.
$18 ever. I
Ever.
don't care if inflation goes down to zero. Like, same thing with my rent. Like, you said it was due to inflation and this and that. It's like, if there was no more inflation, my rent is not going back down. And
Mm.
I think with Coca-Cola, it's like, once you give people that, you can't take it away.
What's
Same thing
wrong?
with alcohol. Alcohol is killing all these people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they tried to take that away, did not go well.
Didn't go well. But I guess
I think the thing isn't about taking it away because people have to have
I
free
don't
will.
well yeah, I don't want to take anything away. I just want like
The
everyone to
advertising and like all
kind
that
of
stuff has to totally change.
or I just want people to be like think of it realistically in the way that it's actually
Yes.
impacting them. Be like, hey, like I like alcohol sometimes, so I'm gonna make a adult decision to drink it
Yes. I
sometimes.
think the
Same
advertising
with Coke.
aspect is the one that's the problem.
I think people
When
don't
you're allowed
know.
no, yeah, when you're allowed to lie about your product and lie about its effects and not disclose a lot of this stuff, then and then
Or like
jam it down everyone's throat with advertising.
if
Like,
you're working in the marketing department at McDonald's, like you might be responsible for more deaths than like the Nazis. Like realistically.
yeah,
And it's like everyone's like, yeah, like this guy's a good job.
yeah,
Like what? Like
yeah,
he's like because your job is to trick people into thinking that they like need McDonald's every day.
yes.
I get like you're just a cog in the wheel and you're doing,
Yes,
but like eventually you have to think about
the
what
effect that
you're
you're having.
doing and your impact and like not maybe not on an individual level, but like
Play devil's advocate here, though. What would you say about someone saying that's an awesome podcast? Like you guys
do you
have
think we're
9 listeners, and you might be steering these 9 listeners wrong, and how dare you put that out there?
do they would they are they saying that we're having a negative impact on people?
I'm sure they could take some things that we've said and say like that's a super negative. I mean, I did call a bunch of Portuguese people terrorists
Well, they
for
started
the known
slavery.
rat.
I'd say, hey, we got a chair here.
Yeah.
Come on, let's talk through whatever you're thinking about. And I'm open-minded on most things. Like, I'm really willing to change my mind on a lot because
Same.
I'm almost always wrong.
Me
I
too.
have a
Yeah.
weird track record. Like,
Me
I'm
too.
pretty much always wrong.
I went
And
through
I'm
that.
okay to admit that.
Yeah, I did go through that this week with Abriana, where it was like, I think I said like 4 different things where I was like, I think it's this, but like in my head, like I'm saying out loud, I think, but like in my head, I'm like, it's 100%. And then like all 4 of them were wrong. Like all 4 of them.
We're just here to have open debate,
Yeah.
I think.
But going back to McDonald's, I think
I don't mean to
it's,
jump on them so hard. It gets me fired up though.
I think
Like,
it's advertising in general. Like that goes back to Lost Connections, which was last week, which I
mm,
loved, was a book about
yeah,
depression. And he was pretty much saying how like advertising is the cause of depression. I think like now that I'm 2 weeks from removed or
it's
maybe
like
3 weeks
yeah,
from removed from that book, I feel like almost that's the main message that I took out of
yeah.
that book is that
I do think it's the
advertising
most
is the cause for depression.
evil, one of the more evil
It
parts of
it
life
makes you feel like you need new shoes and you need
to be
this and you
happy,
yes and you
and your
need
life's
this
not good enough.
yes and you need this food and you need he said he became really fat because he lived next to a wing place and all this stuff and
Mm,
like it makes you feel like you need these things because it's being advertised and they are so good at advertising now.
they were so good at it. Yeah, yeah.
So it's like I think the advertising aspect of it is the most evil part of it. So
That's
like
big. But
McDonald's advertising, the head of advertising for McDonald's, do you think he has any understanding of like whether he's a shitty person or not?
I don't think he does, but I think he should. Is my guess.
Yes.
But I don't know. I don't know.
You
I'd
don't know.
love to have him
Yeah.
as a guest.
Well, we'll put this out here for all 9 people to hear, if
Like I work in finance, but I think a lot about how
like your decisions impact other people.
well, like at least because my decisions are so small, it probably don't matter.
Yeah.
But like how the firm and I can't influence it, so but like how, if the firm is like a positive or negative impact and influence on like the world in general.
I think like remember there was that stat on like sociopaths and CEOs, and it's like there's an
Mm,
astronomically higher rate,
hmm.
of like sociopaths that are like
Like
CEOs of
yeah,
major
you have to
companies.
just be like
I think in a large part, yeah, you have to be,
heartless.
yes, because of that. But I do think it's tough. I think this will be like the main focus of our discussion. Like we said for Luigi Mangioni's trial, like we'll go and read some of his books on Goodreads. Like we have that
Yeah, back
crooked,
book.
yeah, the back book, like Crooked Pain or something.
Mm,
Um, and then we'll kind of also follow along with the trial and kind of discuss that. But I feel like that is kind of like I think hopefully that's a good talking point from that, not whether like you should be going around murdering people or not, but like the level of responsibility of like these CEOs of these major
yeah.
corporations that are causing like so much pain for like really questionable practices. Like the whole like healthcare
Oh
thing, it's
God.
like, they're
Actually, I'm excited for that trial, so we can really talk
yeah,
about
really
that
get
kind of
into
stuff.
it. But I think it is like I mean when you have like so many people tweeting out and you have like polls on like CNN saying like 40% of people support what he did. Like some ridiculous
Right, like if
like
you
support
murder
for a guy
someone,
that
which
just
I
murdered someone
don't
in
agree
cold blood.
with, I'm gonna go on the
Yes.
record and say that,
Yeah.
but people are like
There's a
kind of cool
problem.
with it,
Yes.
then it's like,
There's a
hey,
problem that needs to be
we might as
discussed.
well learn something from this and kind of readjust
Yeah.
instead of just like continuing to do the same stuff.
And
But
try to like portray it as something different than what
yeah,
it actually was.
to bring it all back to the book,
So, T.
Tea, Coca-Cola. I mean, clearly, I was kind of shocked when it was a top six, but I think clearly it's had such a big impact on like the globalization of like
Yeah.
American culture in places where like everyone knows a Coca-Cola. It's the second most known phrase in the world, literally. Um,
And timing of it was perfect.
Timing of it around like the World War II, industrialization,
Yeah.
getting up, like
Like any of these other drinks,
it like represents American culture a lot, which for better or worse,
yeah. But if
you
any of
can
these other
debate, but it
drinks
does, it really
happened
does.
at that time, they probably also economically would have caused like an absolute superpower.
Yeah, like if coffee was new then, and there was like one company that just made coffee or something, it would have been the
Yes.
same.
Because the coffee beans like only grow in certain
Um,
spots and all that stuff. Because that was like
yeah,
the issue with tea with Great Britain is like China was competing with them and it was like they couldn't grow some of the things in the UK that China could grow. So
yeah,
they were like trying
yeah.
to find other places for
Just
them to
like
grow
with
the
the
same thing to
distribution,
compete.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, for closing thoughts, I was a little upset at one point that he didn't talk about water, but then he did talk about water at the end.
Yeah.
So he was like, yeah, obviously water is like a big deal, and getting
Yeah.
running water was huge and had a big impact. He talked about like water in Africa a bit, which I think I kind of solved the water Africa crisis in the Operation Paperclip episode.
Yeah.
So like we don't have to worry about that anymore. But that might be a good segue to the next book too. Um,
First rating
well,
them.
yeah, we should. Final thoughts on this book. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any. He did mention the Six-Day War in 1967, where Israel blocked water to Gaza.
Oh
And I
yeah.
was like, wait, what? 1967?
Doing it again.
They're doing it again. They're throwing it back. Um, I thought it was cool that um, he kind of ended with the thought about how like drinking, like all these drinks kind of connect people from different societies across the globe and also across like time periods. So
Yeah.
like a person from 1,000 years ago, like if that person was here today, they wouldn't know what like cars were, like any of that stuff, but like you
Yeah.
could still like have a beer with them and like cheers, and like
Yeah.
that would kind of be like something that like crosses like 1,000 years.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a really cool
I agree.
ending to the book, and overall
It was such a well-written book. Like I would
well written,
read
easy.
something from this guy again. Like if
Same. If he
this
has
guy
another
just
book,
yeah, no matter almost like what it was
I think
on,
they made it into a TV show.
did that.
I think
I
when I
don't
was like
see how it could even be a TV show.
I think I forget. It was like
Loosely.
one of those like
Yeah.
not like Anthony Bourdain, but like
Yeah.
kind of similar, like going around
Okay.
the world to like,
In six glasses,
oh,
maybe.
here's the coffee shop or something. I
Yeah.
don't know,
But
who
that's not
knows?
really what the book was, so
If
I'm sure it's
I
full
would
of
never
stuff.
watch it. If I
Yeah.
show's probably awful.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about shows and books before like kind of getting into the next book, so I'm gonna save that thought.
Yeah.
Um, Overall, I love this book. I would recommend it. Light, fun, easy, great topics. Hard to rate. I think all books are hard to rate
Yeah.
because
We talk about it every week, but we really need like a
we need it.
whiteboard. But it's like we're now at 50 books, so it's like,
It's hard to because different
can we
books are so different.
even,
Like this
yeah,
book is just a different thing than some other books. Like this
yeah,
book is like more general, easy, fun. Some books are like really in depth and like nitty gritty, and like
yes,
it's hard to compare them.
yeah,
But like this book, I would really highly recommend it. I enjoyed reading it, but like I can't give it like 5, obviously,
no,
because it's not like, hey, this is like a life-changing type of thing.
agree.
But I also don't want to give it like a low rating because of that, because it was for what it was really good.
So where do you have it? I have mine typed out here.
Do you?
Yeah,
Did you do it before we discussed it?
just
Or
now.
just now you typed it? I think I'm gonna give it a 4-4. No.
Uh, I think that's right.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, we've been doing 6 episodes and we've
yeah,
been doing this too long.
yeah. Like for those of us that like magic tricks,
That
that's just
was
where we're
not
at. I,
Dr. O's.
I also think that we're exactly the same on this book. Like how you feel about it is exactly
Hmm.
how I feel about it. Like, it's different, it's easy read, and
Hmm.
it just makes it where,
That was crazy.
yeah, just the information. But I think that's right. It's not a five, it's not a life-changing book. It's not a four flat, which I think is too low. I think it's somewhere
Yep.
in between that and a 4 5 it obviously easily could have been. That's not that far away from that, but I think it's like a
It's a
tiny bit
different
shy
tier,
of
kind of.
exactly between a 4 and a 5.
It has to be a little more impactful to like
Or just like more, a little bit more like captivating, like a chaos or something like that. I would
or
want it
like
like a
Nate
four or
King.
five, yeah, or Nanking, where it's
If
just
you're
like,
like diving into like a Nanking
yes,
topic.
or
But
yeah,
yeah, overall, and just tie this into like the next book, like this is why books are so great because you can cover so many different topics and learn so much, and you can't get the same thing from a TV show or a movie. I don't think like I don't get the same satisfaction. So the next book is What is the What by Dave Eggers, and we'll obviously get into the book, but when I finished that one today, I was just like this like I would never get the same satisfaction from watching a movie or a TV show as I did from finishing that book.
yeah,
In terms of just like the ups and downs, the feelings, the stories, the everything that you're learning about. Like that book, if it was made into a TV show, would I don't think would be anywhere near the same as good as it was as a book.
yeah. I hated it. I actually, I knew you were gonna like it,
Real.
and I
Oh, let's go.
really, I won't say I hated it,
No,
but I didn't like it that much.
really.
So here's my
Well,
problem.
let's hold that.
Yeah,
Let me give a quick overview. So the book is about um a guy named Valentino, essentially. He's what they call a lost boy of Sudan. He was living in Sudan, in a little village. His village gets like raided by a bunch of Arabs or is that the right way to say it?
Muslims,
Arabs?
Arabs, or yeah, but
It's
they were
either
Muslims,
Arabs.
right? But
Yeah,
it was
they would
like
say like
Iraqi.
yeah, he would say like Arabs or
Oh, he would,
Arabs.
yeah.
Um, which yeah, but essentially, so like he had to run away, and then he's like running for his life through Africa, and this book kind of covers his journey, and then eventual move to America, and we'll go through all the details, I'm sure. But that was like kind of what the book is about.
Yeah.
But I'd love to hear. Maybe we'll go. Do you want to do your initial thoughts first, and then my initial thoughts?
Yeah, and I won't do
Because
too
they'll be
much of
different,
it, but I'll give
which I
you like
love.
my first part that I didn't like. And
Mhm.
then you can give us like your part that you liked. But first thing I didn't like is the absolute very start. It says like some things are fictional, can't be
Mhm.
taken as truth. And it's just like I can't start that way. Like I'd rather start like Simon Kenton, where like he says everything in this book is
True word.
absolute fact.
So I agree with you there so far because
Because it was a book
it's
that
such a
needed to be true. If
it's
if everything was true, then I think it really elevates it a lot. And I'm sure it seemed true. So I just hated the fact that you would have to start and say
I
like,
think it was more like well again I get what you're saying because there were times because it was so detailed in every aspect of his life like he goes through his whole journey
yeah,
of like every step every day and like conversations and it's like whenever this is happening in a book that's based on a true story it's like
yeah,
how are you remembering every word of a conversation.
yes,
I get that part, and I did think a few times where I was like, this is really detailed for like a memory of like he wasn't like writing, he didn't know how
yeah.
to write. It's like his memory to be like this detailed, like obviously they're filling in some gaps, but like I
I
do think overall it was like
I think you have to, yes, I totally agree. But I think you have to put that in a book when you're afraid of being sued, when people start calling you a liar. And that's what
it
scares me about that book is like, Simon Kenton's author wasn't afraid
no
of getting
one's
sued.
that
You know?
guy's probably knee-deep in lawsuits writing that book.
So for those of us that don't know, we read, what was it, The Last
The
Frontier,
Frontiersman
Frontiersman.
by Alan Eckert.
And it was just like 40 hours of an audiobook talking about Simon Kenton, who was just like, a really early colonist. And
He's gonna pave him the way out west.
yeah, and it just kind of goes through his entire life and some other people and like famous people from that time period, like interwoven throughout the book. Like he talks a lot about, he's like friends with Daniel Boone and like some other
Mhm.
people that you know the names of, but a lot of people you didn't know the names of. And like the detail in that book is just wild. It'll be
Because
like,
there's a lot of like Indians, and then like they'd be having conversations in their wiggy woos, which is like
yes,
their tents. Um, but it would be like word for word, and
yes,
the
of like
guy,
what they
the
said.
author, in the first before the first chapter essentially wrote like every single thing in this book is 100% factually accurate, including conversations, and there's just
Yes.
no way that was possibly true.
Yes.
But
But that
that was a
level of
great book.
confidence, it was a great
It's
book.
a 40-hour slog,
Yeah.
but it was a good book.
But I do like that start. And like it's funny how a lot of these books do have a start that
A
like
lot Herman
sets a
Hesse,
tone. Yeah.
Steppenwolf has done it.
Yes.
A few other books have done it, but I'm sorry to not to
Um,
interrupt too much
no, no,
into
no,
your
but that
because I
is
do agree with that one point.
that was my first part about it, and it just kind of makes me think of like the Dave Chappelle skit a little bit. So like, where what was that movie? Like something Fisher, written by Fisher. Like it was like a movie. It was like wait, it was some guy's name, and it was like him telling his own story about his life. And then Dave Chappelle did a skit, and like the first scene is like him as a baby, and like he just has
Yeah,
the huge dick,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
doctor's like,
I know the
uh-huh.
Chappelle
Yeah, and
skit.
Chappelle's just pretty much saying how it's
It's
like
the
you
best.
can't like I'd never be able to write my own story like that and be factually accurate. So like
Correct.
he does a lot with chicks in this book. So
Correct.
like
Okay.
there's one where it's just like there's these three like sisters, or I
The
think they're
sisters.
sisters, yeah, and they
Yeah.
call them like the royal family of something.
Yeah. So
Even
he.
though they're not actually a royal family, but like they
Mhm.
were like the most desired essentially chicks in their little school.
Yeah. At this point, he was in the camp, and he was at school, and these girls were in his school, and I think the teacher was their uncle, and he was like more well off than most of the people in the camp, so they had like a real house or something, and
Yes, and
so
like
they were like royal.
he was like trying really hard in school to get their attention. He finally gets their attention. And then it's like, they're essentially playing like hide and seek with his penis, and then they like go skinny dipping in the
Yeah.
river, and it's just like a real pat on the back type story about your own life.
I I'll agree
I
with you
thought,
there that of the whole book, like I also didn't love that part.
yeah, but
Or like
I
needed
didn't,
to be there.
yeah, like it wasn't the same thing of like, obviously the Dave Chappelle skit where he's just constantly talking about how
Hmm.
awesome he is. He's not. He's like super self-deprecating. Is
Hmm.
that the right word?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Um,
Agreed.
about his own, about his own life, like his like how he handles girls and a lot of the stuff. Like a lot of times he would say like the wrong thing because of what his dad would tell him. So it's like there's a lot in there that doesn't paint him out in this great light,
Yeah.
but I didn't like that start of a book that feels like
So that got you off
everything
on like the wrong foot. That
totally
really that got you going.
bothered me.
Okay. That's fair.
Um,
That's fair.
but other than that, I thought the organization of it was great. Like the starting opening scene, essentially, he's like already living in America, and then some black woman asks him to use his phone, and he says yeah, and then she pushes in the door, and then the guy runs in, and they essentially rob him, take time off, beat the crap out of him, and then take all of his stuff. Um, and he's like in and out of consciousness, like talking to like their son, who they for some reason brought with them to the robbery, while the son's like watching TV like a little boy. And then it's like kind of flashbacks from
Mm,
there to like what his life was like before he came to America, being one of these like lost boys in the Sudan.
yeah. So before we get into like the details, high level, I loved it.
Yeah,
Loved
I knew you would.
I really liked it. I thought number one, like I think this one is like better as an audiobook than a hard copy because
Yeah,
you get like him with the accent and like it kind of
yeah,
makes you feel like you're
he did a good
kind
job
of
with that
more
too.
immersed
Yeah,
in what he's going through. Um, and then yeah, I love how they do like they start off with like, oh, he's real time, he's getting robbed. Um, I I loved him like right away, like his personality. Um,
his personality is a good personality. Like
it was good. There's times where like I really hated him.
it's almost like this
It
simple
because it
idiot
brings you
thing.
through like all these different ups and downs and
Yeah,
stuff where he's like doing good, he's doing bad. And then essentially he's like now he's getting robbed and he's like thinking through and he's like, you know, you guys don't know what I've been through. Like here,
yeah.
and he kind of is doing these flashbacks and stuff. Um, there's a lot of stuff in it I didn't like, but there was a point. maybe halfway through this book
Yeah.
where I was thinking we had a 5 star on our hands.
Oh, really? So
For
you're
yeah,
really high on it.
I was. It didn't live up. It was not. It didn't live up to the 5 star
Yeah.
to the end, and we'll get into why. Um, but that's like overall, like I mean, I've been talking about the Lost Boys
A lot.
any chance I can get.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna for sure like it, and I wanted to like it more. I just didn't feel like
I think by the end of this conversation, you're gonna like
it's certainly
it.
possible. I do feel like that more about witches, because like I just witches I couldn't do the accent. I couldn't understand what she was saying.
That was a different.
So like hearing you then translate witches back to me, I feel
True,
like
but that was
I
a
was almost
that was a
reading it again.
completely different animal.
That was.
I do have to pee. I wish we could pause this.
That's all right. I'll talk
Uh,
about true poverty for a little bit.
talk about true poverty. I don't know what that is, and I'll be back in 2 seconds.
All right, so the one thing that I did really like about it was like this aspect of like what true poverty is, which like really doesn't exist in America, like comparatively to what like actual poverty is like in some of these other undeveloped countries. So like, he's talking about how like he's essentially in a group going through the woods trying to get to an area and like they have no water, they have no food, they have nothing, and they're like on the move for like months and months and months at a time. So it's like kids are just starving to death, young boys that are traveling with them, like everyone's so skinny, it's like almost disgusting. Like at one point, they're like the person that's in charge of them, that's like essentially walking them through, like shoots an elephant, and the boys just like start eating it like raw because they're so hungry they don't even like cook it. Um, so it's like that element of like actual like you have nothing, like absolute nothing is pretty insane because like you just don't see that in America, and I think a lot of people probably think that that exists in America to some degree. Um, but like at least from my experiences and what I've seen, like nobody's actually like starving to death. Like nobody that wants food like can't get food. Nobody that wants water like can't get water. Um, like there's one scene where it's like the boys like get shown like ice and we've never seen ice before. So just like to recap for you, I was talking about like the level of poverty that existed there, where it's like they have nothing, no food, no water, like actual
But
nothing. Like that level
the
of
icing, I thought
poverty
was
just,
crazy. Like they didn't
yeah,
know what ice was.
no. Like it
No.
just doesn't exist in America. Like if you're an American, you want food, you can get food. If you want
Yeah.
water, you can get water.
Yep. Yep. Um, you held it down.
Yeah, probably not well, but
But you did good. I was
yeah,
thinking when I was peeing that maybe it makes sense to like kind of try to recap some of the stuff, and then from there, like
break into
we'll
tangents and
we'll
talk
break
about,
off into like what we think about like all the stuff that was happening.
yeah,
So obviously, the opening scene, he's getting robbed. He's living in Atlanta with his buddy. Um, I thought like it was pretty good. Like he feels like there's a lot of humor in it. Like it's a very dark story overall, where like
yeah,
really bad things are happening, but it's kind of always like lighthearted in a way, which I like. So like even when he's like getting robbed, like it's kind of like funny moments in
yeah,
there. Um, and you kind of see like, all right, this is like some Sudanese guy in America who has, no idea how to be in America because his life
yeah,
is so different. But basically, he starts to flash back to when he's little, and obviously, spoiler alert, um, what we'll get into. But he's a happy kid living in a village. He's
yeah,
must have been like 6 to 8, I think,
yeah.
when this all started.
Because I think like the whole thing, you said it was like 20 years.
Yeah,
Like
and he
the
was like
whole journey to
27 when it ended,
America.
kind of.
Yeah, it was like took
So
20
I would
years.
say he's like 6 or 7 when this
Yeah,
all started. And he's like living, he's got some friends and they're in South Sudan, Mariel Bai.
yeah,
Whenever Amy says anything, I'm like, what do you think I'm from Mariel Bai? Um, and they don't know much about the world, but they're like kind of happy in their life. Like
yeah,
he has his father who he loves, he's a bunch of brothers and sisters. His father has 5 wives and they like, live on a compound and
yeah.
everyone gets along and it's great, essentially. And then one day, like
The Muslims know.
some Muslims come and like, I think at first it wasn't so bad. Like people are like, why are these people here? What are they
Yeah,
doing? And eventually, um, it starts to kind of be more and more, and then they start coming on horses with guns and essentially just start like shooting up the
Murdering
whole
people,
town and
yeah.
like lighting every like I'm assuming they're just living in huts. They start lighting
And
them
did
on
you
fire.
know any of this before? Because I did. Like, if you were
I,
to tell me, like, there's a big problem in Sudan, I would have said, like, civil war. I would think that nobody's going to the middle of Africa
I didn't know like
from, like, the Middle
all
East.
this stuff. I knew like South Sudan and Sudan were like trying to like split at some point because like
Yeah.
South Sudan was trying to become its own country. But I like didn't know anything.
I
Um,
was shocked by the Muslim part.
shocked,
Like, he had mentioned it throughout the book. And then
shocked.
even at the end, like, I think there was like 7 or 8 hours left, and he was saying how, like, he started talking about Saddam Hussein.
Osama bin Laden, yeah, the
Yeah.
oil.
Yeah. And
They
it, like, that's when it, like,
they had a lot of oil.
fully clicked in that this was, actually what's going on, which is
Yeah.
like,
So this whole thing, I think the book, like, I think it started in like the 80s
yeah,
and in like the 80s and 90s when this guy was going through it. So essentially, like,
I guess that isn't new though, like other countries trying to take Africa's like natural
for
resources.
sure,
But
for
I'm
sure.
I'm surprised that it was the Middle East.
That was shocking to me. I didn't know that they'd be going in there to like
Yeah.
F shit up. But they come in on like, horses and everything, which I don't even know if they've seen horses before, just shooting everyone up, burning the huts.
Which
Everyone is just in a panic, like running. He sees like his neighbors, his friends burning alive,
yeah.
getting shot. He hides in a school for like 2 days, I think. And eventually, like, it's quiet enough, and he's like, I just need to start running. He doesn't know where his mom and dad are, and he just starts like sprinting into the jungle and like hoping that things work out for him. And then, the story kind of goes on from there. Um, so he kind of talks about all the crazy stuff that happens while he's running. Like he's running, he'll run into like
Kids are just being grabbed by
other kids,
lions.
like lions are snatching kids out in the middle of the night. It's pitch black. There's no lights or anything.
Yeah, that's not where I would want to be like running
Yeah,
through, like just in terms of like not only the animals, but then even like I feel like Africa water is always such an issue.
water. So like he at night he would try to like dig a hole and like sleep in the hole. So he would
Yeah,
like have like bugs crawling into him and like
yeah.
all this stuff. So like I thought all this stuff was awesome. Like it was intense. It
No, it
was
was, yeah. I think
book wise
and he didn't
awesome.
do yeah, he didn't do too much with it either. Like he never made you feel like his life was that miserable. I think
He
that's
kind of just explained it. He kind of just said like, yeah,
yeah,
this is what's happening.
the big lantern fly.
Nice.
I think the part that I think is interesting, and I'd like to hear your perspective on this, is I took maybe a little bit of this away, and I don't know if this was at all part of the book, but he never like he talks about how terrible his life was in Africa. But then he gets to America and it almost like it creates all these new problems. Like he has a friend with a gambling problem and is constantly asking for money. He's getting robbed. He's having problems with relationships that he's having. It almost like made it seem like as terrible as his life was in Sudan, and it sounded like it was about as bad as your life could possibly be.
Yep.
That like America didn't just like fix his problems.
Yeah. Um,
Like, do you think he almost like regrets coming to America or no? Because he's just like he goes, you go to America and it's just like he's at the bottom of the social ladder.
yeah.
Like he can't get a girlfriend in one scene.
I think like the closing, this is jumping ahead, but I'm happy to jump around.
Yeah,
This is a good question. I think part of what the ending was kind of like it's still not good. Like
yeah,
like he was so thankful when he finally got to come to America, and then he gets here,
yeah.
and they kind of just like stick him in Atlanta with some like shit
Yes.
job and no chance to ever do anything, and
And
no one really
college isn't
respects
going
him.
well. Like he's
They're
trying
not letting
to.
him like do classes and
Yes.
stuff and
Yeah.
go into college as like they promised him, and it's kind of like I think we talked about this in depression, like your life's problems are your life's problems,
Yes.
like, and it's gonna suck no matter what, like whether
Yeah. A millionaire.
you're burying into holes at night and not get eaten by a lion and you're
Yeah.
having bugs crawl into your mouth and like
Yeah.
removing dirt from your mouth and eyes so you can breathe,
Yeah.
or you're getting robbed in Atlanta working at a gym and swiping people
Yeah.
in the morning.
Or even if you're the CEO of McDonald's,
Right,
like that mental battle, like should probably eat you alive and like ruin your life.
yes. But I think that once you're in your own world, which everyone is, like whatever the worst thing that's happening to you at that time is bad
Yeah.
for you. Because we
It's all
talk,
comparative.
right, we talk about this in Johan Hari, where like I could think about my life, or Valentino, who's the guy, could think about his life in
Which is
Atlanta.
a great name, by the way.
Great name. I love.
Did he?
He
Yeah.
changed his name every 5 seconds,
Yeah.
which I still don't understand that part. He's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
he said in the beginning, like yeah, in Sudan, like everyone just changes their name all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but like he even in Atlanta, like he was having a crap day. He's getting robbed at gunpoint.
Yeah.
That stinks. He's getting like a phone book dropped on his head. He's getting tied up. They're taking all of his stuff. Like he's working as hard as he can to like make minimum wage. And that stinks, but definitely comparatively does not stink as much
Yeah.
as running through the pitch black night in Sudan when your best friend's running with you and your best friend gets like
Eaten
snatched by
by a
a
lion. Yeah.
lion and you just have to keep running and
Yeah.
like pretend like you're not about to get snatched by a
And he
lion.
kind of says that while he's being robbed. Like I've been through such worse stuff. Like these people kind of don't
Right.
know.
But
But
right
it,
now, this is what's happening.
yes, and it also doesn't stop them from
Right.
just like beating the crap out of them. It's like being through bad stuff
Yeah.
doesn't help you in that situation, really. Maybe
Yeah.
just mental toughness.
Mental toughness
But then
for
that just
sure,
leads to
but
him getting like beat on more.
yeah. And again, I think it's just like you kind of have to step back sometimes and remember that like everyone is having completely different experiences of the world
Yeah,
than you. So like it's so easy to just say like, hey, you should be happy you have like all this good stuff, but like you really don't know what people are going through every single day, and they
totally.
could be like they could have a crappy boss or something, and like that
Yeah.
can really weigh on you, even though it's like
And some
in the
people,
grand scheme of the world, it's not a
yeah,
real problem compared to people
yeah.
in Sudan, but like to you it is. So like,
Even like mentally, I think some people just you go through a bad time and it's just like you be the first one to admit that nothing's wrong in your life, but like you just like can't stop feeling like anxious and stressed and all this stuff, and it's like you just feel like miserable. And it's
right,
like you can have things where it's like you don't even have a problem, but like for whatever reason your body's just like reacting, as in fight or flight mode constantly, and it's like your hormones are going crazy and it's like you're miserable.
yeah, it's like again, like it's all like relative.
It is.
It's
But I think that purpose,
I do think like the end book, like as he's coming to America,
like his purpose in life was better in Sudan, even though his life was worse, like he
he
actually had purpose.
yeah, he ends up, and we'll kind of skip back and forth. He ends up in these camps, and he kind of becomes like he's in the one camp Kakuma for over 10 years, and he becomes like a good student and a teacher and a coach. They're
Yeah.
playing basketball, and he kind of like is very well liked, and he did have like a pretty good purpose there. Like everyone really loved him. Um, and then like as he's coming to America, I think there was at one point there was like this older guy who was like yelling like you're to all the people who are going to go to America, like you're going to go there, you're going to have the same problems, like there's going to
Yeah.
be different problems. And I think that's kind of what the point you're making is like,
Yeah.
these problems are going to follow you around to wherever, no matter like
And do you think that that was his point of the book? Was that the what?
I want to get into that, so it's probably a good time to get into that because I actually didn't like this part.
We're also coming up on hour 45.
Okay.
So I don't mind if we just jump and just get everything out there, you know?
Do you have a
Like we might not have time to like break down scene by scene as much as we
no?
did history of the world.
Yeah, 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 yeah. History World. It was probably longer than I thought it would be.
Yeah,
We'd have to go scene by scene, but the what is the what part, which is the title of the book, that was one of the few disappointments I had.
it's constant throughout the book, right? Like his dad will tell him something and he'll say like, so what is that what? And then the dad kind of like won't tell him.
That was like this. That was like the myth and like the story of like part of their religion. I think of like their culture was like somebody dies and goes to God, and God says, "Hey, you can either have like all of these cattle, or you can have the what."
Yeah,
And the guy's like, what is the what?
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't tell you. So the Sudanese guy picks cattle.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, we're gonna live off of these cattle all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like that was the right choice.
And then it comes up like
Like
a few
it
times
comes up a
though.
few
And
times. I
then
thought
at
it
the
was
very end,
okay
right?
because I was a little disappointed because he kind of said like they were talking to a Muslim guy
Yeah.
when they told the first story, and Valentino was like, "Oh, he didn't tell the part in the story where the Muslim guy chooses the what,"
Yeah.
and then they kind of are like always chasing after this thing as like a
Yeah.
people, this like unknown thing that like you'll never find out what it is. It's like this mysterious like thing that you're chasing.
Yeah.
And that was like kind of like an underlying theme throughout the book of like,
Because I remember when it came out the first time, I like had to rewind it because I thought I like really
mm,
missed a huge important moment because it's literally the title of the book. And then it was, yeah, like you said, it was kind of just like him talking about, but like, what is the what?
I think I wrote that like I really hope they like kind of bring that back more because that wasn't
Yeah.
as good of a story for like the title story as it should
Yeah.
have been. Which is like whatever. Like it was such a small part of the book. It was a really long book.
Yeah.
Um, but then I'm trying to think of what else happened that's like worth mentioning. He starts running. He runs into this group of boys. There's like 300 boys just like sitting down in the middle of this like think of the hottest desert you ever could think of. Um, and then he's like, he doesn't want anything to do with these people. He doesn't trust anyone right now. Everyone he
Yeah.
runs into tries to kill him. And there's this guy, Dude. You gotta like Dude.
Yeah. I liked
All
him.
right, we like Dude.
Yeah.
So Dude was like the oldest, I think, boy at the time, and he was kind of like a teacher from his village. And he was like, "Stay with us. Like, I'm gonna help you out. All of us are gonna walk to Ethiopia, and we're gonna be safe there." So a lot of it covers his journey walking. Um, through the whole most horrible desert, like people are starving, dying of thirst, like they just go and sit by a tree and die. You're walking over bodies, like horrific, horrific stuff. That he kept light because he would like kind of run into his friend from
Yeah.
Mario Bai.
Nice.
And um so I like all of those moments. Like when William K died,
Yeah.
I was like, no, no, that like I can't have this guy die.
Yeah.
He was like one of his good like nerdy friends who like he was really happy to see. He like found him at like a
Super glass half full guy.
yeah, he was his friend. He's kind of a dweeb back in Mario Bai.
Make up a
Um,
lot of stories.
he would like
Like,
make everything up,
yeah.
but like when he finally ran into him, he was so happy to see him because it was someone from his like village.
Yeah.
Because I think on the walk, which was interesting, he was like, no one even talked to each other
Yeah.
because like we were all so like depressed and like sad
And starving to
and
death.
starving that
Yeah.
like even though we were like 300 boys walking through the desert together, like it was just silent, which is insane.
I did talk about like the elephant thing before that it was like, dude shot the elephant
Yeah, when they
and
found that,
then
did he shoot him?
yeah, I think so.
Oh shit, I thought he just
Yeah.
found it.
Oh, I think he shot
Oh,
him.
nice, dude's
Because then they were talking
smart.
about like, like how many bullets would you need to kill like a Muslim?
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
were, yeah.
Um,
So they, yeah,
but
they
yeah,
they
but they
killed the
like,
elephant. They all got to eat finally.
but
Like
like
they ate
they
some
didn't
meat.
cook it. Like all the boys just like ran
Yeah,
over because
some of
they're
them were like
starving.
too excited, so they
Yeah.
ate the raw meat and they got sick. And I
Yeah.
think some maybe died.
Yeah.
Some were like, okay, I'm gonna like cook this meat because they each got
Yeah.
like a share.
Yeah.
Um, which is it's literally nuts if you think about it. This isn't like a long time ago. This was
Nah.
the 90s.
It's also like
Like
that.
people in the world in the 90s were walking through the desert with
Yeah.
no food or water,
And like,
getting raw elephant meat,
yes,
and
all the animals there, it seems like, do not seem like the place you would want to be when you're starving to death. Like, if you think about, like,
no
I wouldn't want to eat any of those animals. Like, I feel like Africa has, like, they have, like, chimps and monkeys. Wouldn't want to eat that.
zebras. Like nobody eats these things.
Yeah,
Lions, zebras,
lions,
hyenas,
hippos.
giraffes,
Like, even if
hippos.
you were
Yeah.
able to kill one, it's like nobody used to eating that.
But
And then, like,
do we
all of
just
them are,
not eat them because they're not here?
I
Like, are
don't
they just
know.
not edible?
China probably eats them. China would know.
Having bad soup and starting pandemics.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
know though. I think that I don't know, they just almost seem like too exotic of animals to even eat, but it
it's an interesting question. But
is.
like, clearly here, there's no food. Like, there was like some roots growing. If he got like his hands on some like nuts or like dates or something, they
Yeah.
would be like so happy.
Yeah.
So like he's really going in depth like throughout this story. So you're really kind of like following him through it. They finally make it to Ethiopia. as a group of lost boys.
Yeah.
I think they're chilling there for like a little bit, like a couple
They have
years.
like a camp there, and then the
Yeah,
Red Cross is there.
Red Cross is there. Like he's like, okay, like things are okay now. One day, like the you have this whole kind of conflict between the SPLA, which is like the Sudanese rebels, and the Arabs and Muslims, and like Khartoum, which is North Sudan, I think.
Yeah.
So you have kind of all these like emerging conflicts throughout the book.
SPLA, I think, was in Blood Diamond too. Like I think that was like the
Definitely,
rebel group was the
that makes
SPLA.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like cutting off people's hands and stuff and doing all this crazy stuff. And then he's in Ethiopia, and then all of a sudden, like I forget exactly why, but like Ethiopian people are essentially like enough of this.
Yeah,
Like you
didn't
guys
like
have
the
to get out of
Sudanese
here. Like we
people.
don't want like
Yeah.
50. There's like at this point like thousands and thousands of people
Yeah.
who are fleeing Sudan, and
Which you kind of see even today, though. Like you have these conflicts and people leave, and then they set up these camps like at borders with
mhm,
like another country because they'll be like so much safer there. Like if you're on the border of like Mexico and the United States, like you set up camp like on that wall, obviously there's probably not a lot there, but at least you'd be safe because like for the most part, like no one's going there to like murder you because like
some say it's
be like
the
a
safest place in the world. Um, So they go, and then Ethiopians come and just like they don't like say like, "Hey, can you guys leave?" They just literally come start like shooting everyone.
yeah.
So then they have to run again, and they're running. He's back with Duke. He's running across the Nile. I thought that part was sick, where he's like essentially crossing the Nile, and like people are getting shot. On like one side, there's soldiers like shooting at you. The other side, there's crocodiles
Yeah,
like eating
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
So like he's like swimming across the Nile and like trying to, or the river, I think at this point, and trying to decide like do I go back where people I'm gonna get shot
Yeah.
or where I'm gonna get eaten by a crocodile?
It's
But eventually,
just such a
Dude,
bad place
that's
to
where Dude
be.
helped him out,
Yeah,
got him across, and then Dude went back to help more kids, and they never saw him again, so he probably
yeah,
died.
yeah.
But he's just trying to help as many people as possible.
Yeah, Dude was definitely the man.
Mhm. Then he gets to Kakuma in Kenya,
I like how you remember all the places. Like when you're
all about
saying
it.
it, I
We have
remember you
some
did say it a lot.
we have some visitors. Oh
No.
no.
She in the car and we pooped everywhere.
Did he just pull over?
No, I was like right like when we got to the car, I was like, shoot.
Oh
No, she's having a hard time about it. She's not
yeah, I see tears all over her
Yeah.
face.
Oh,
She's the
she
saddest
just
baby
she
I've ever
just
saw.
she just started crying at the red light.
Hi.
Is someone gonna change you?
I
Oh,
changed her. She has no
Yeah.
poop in this diaper, but she has poop on this.
She's just
oh,
traumatized.
Traumatized. No, we were. She slept the whole way home in the last red light by the high
it's
school. Panicked.
it's on like red light.
Yeah, she hates red lights.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Hates them.
don't we all? Oh, that tear. Hi. That's the saddest baby I ever saw.
Are you cold? Am I being a bad mom? She's no pants on. Pants are destroyed, so that's
We'll
why.
be in soon.
Oh my god.
I do love how this happens every episode around the 2 hour mark. And it's like I'm not even remotely worried about anyone listening this far into
No
it.
one will get this
Yeah.
far. She's inside. She was outside for a while, and I let her in.
No one gets this far to you.
Nah.
Rick's tuning in.
We talked about at the beginning, like the uptick. Like we have 9 view. Like I don't know 9 people.
We have nine followers on Spotify.
Right? Watch too. I just sent it.
No. If we get a 10th follower on Spotify, we're gonna have to really celebrate. Double
Yeah.
digits? I can't handle double
It's
digits.
insane because we talked about like the Malcolm Gladwell thing and like the impact like that could happen on other people and like it was like how many people do you know and like and he was like you can't include family. So I think my number was like it was less than 5. Like I have 5 people that I could text like and just be like, hey, can you come over for a little bit?
Oh, it's
And only 3 of them would probably
that's actual actual attendance would be low. We didn't
yeah,
take attendance today, but
yeah.
clearly.
Yeah, I mean that could all change, but
So he gets to Ethiopia. He leaves Ethiopia. I thought that river scene was awesome.
yeah, the crocodile thing
Yeah,
is
I forget if this was the Nile, but like it was also crazy when he was describing crossing the Nile, where like the mosquitoes, they didn't have mosquito nets, so like people were just getting annihilated by mosquitoes, like hundreds of mosquitoes, where people
yeah.
like you're screaming all night because you're just getting eaten alive. It's like,
Unrelated, there was this one naked and afraid that was in like South America. And like they had like 2 people there and they both just like eaten alive, like the worst you've ever seen by mosquitoes,
Wait,
left
where was
after
it?
two
South
days.
Africa?
I think it was South
Oh,
America.
South America. Sorry, I know you said.
And yeah, like somewhere in like a jungle or something. And then they got like two more people. Same thing, just eaten effing to death, and then they left. And then they were like, all right, like nobody's gonna be able to effing make 21 days here. So they brought back like two people that were like
The
had been
best.
on the show a bunch, like
The
the
best.
best of the best. And then they put them there. And I think they did make it or made it close, but like they were showing their mosquito bites, and it was every inch of their body was like a
That's
bump with a red thing.
one of the worst.
Like it just, it's crazy that it's like the mosquitoes can be worse than like people won't tap out because like they hear like a jaguar nearby, but
That's
like they'll tap out after mosquitoes have eaten them alive for 2 days.
dude. Think about it. Like
I
especially
know.
here, like when Valentino's, you're sleeping on the bank of a river
Yeah.
in the pitch black
Yeah.
of Africa, and with 1,000
Yes.
people around you screaming, like
Yeah.
everyone's getting eaten, like that bad where you're screaming
Yeah.
is wild.
And Africa, just like comparatively to like California. California, you have no lions,
No
no
one,
hyenas,
none.
no crocodiles, no bugs. Like there's like literally no bugs in California.
Is that true? Is that fact?
I think so.
I believe
Yeah.
it.
So you compare that to Africa, and it's like you're getting eaten by lions. Like you have like the worst
Yeah,
bugs. You have like the worst spiders. Like Africa and Australia, I think are like literally the two worst
yeah.
continents in the world.
Well, I want to get into that. So
Bugs and animals
I want
wise.
to get into Africa in general when we're wrapping up. But so he makes it to Kakuma. This is like a new camp. It's like the middle of nowhere desert. They're setting stuff up. But I think he's just like, all right, whatever at this point. Like my life sucks.
Yeah.
But he ends up staying in that camp for 10 years. And he's met like so many people on the way and stuff
Yeah.
like that that
To
we
to
won't
beat the
we won't spoil. Tabitha, I want to get into that soon. Um, he gets to Kakuma. He kind of, he starts going to school and like he's in this camp for 10 years. Like
yeah,
that's so long
away from his parents.
away from his parents. Like
He said he hadn't seen his parents in 15 years.
yeah, he had no, like he couldn't picture his mother or father or anything anymore. He didn't know what they sounded like. Because he'd just been through so much and like so many stories through the book, which we'll save for the reader. He kind of talks about like the people he meets along the way and certain times where every time like they'd be sleeping at night and a helicopter would come, like all the lost boys would have to like they would just run and sprint in different directions and like there would be a plane and they'd be like, oh, this plane is dropping supplies and everyone would run towards the plane. Next thing it would start dropping bombs and
Yeah.
they run away from the plane. It's like he had been through it all.
Yeah.
He's seen a lot of his like best friends literally die up
Every
close,
way.
every
Yeah.
which way possible. Um,
Starved to death.
Starved to death,
Eaten
but
by
in
lions.
Kakuma he kind of like
Shot.
had somewhat of a normal life. That's where he met Tabitha, which is kind of like his love interest in the real world, real time story, where he's in Atlanta. He kind of talks about his girlfriend or his ex girlfriend who ended up being relocated to Seattle, and they kind of lost touch for a while, and then they regained touch. But he kind of goes back and eventually tells the story of how they met and how they had their first kiss and stuff like that. I thought the trip to Nairobi was cool.
Yeah.
Um,
And then at the end, she started giving like weird energy, right? Where like,
so my hot take from this book, which is not a hot take anymore because you already came in with the hot take,
yeah,
so this might be, but so eventually, like he's talking the whole book about Sabitha's the love of his life, and he loves the way she wears glasses, and he talks really in depth about all these things. And then she ends up moving to Seattle, and she gets a boyfriend there, and he's like, I don't care. I'm gonna finish college and then we'll end up together. She's an adult, she can do whatever she wants to do. And then eventually they start talking again, and he calls the boyfriend and it's like, hey, like me and Tabitha are back together. Like, let's just be cool about it. And the boyfriend, Damala or something, is like, hey, that's cool, bro. Like, I know you guys are in love. Like, I'm gonna be cool about it. So he's like, okay, I solved that problem. And then the next day, they call him and they're like, Tabitha's dead. Damala stabbed her 22 times.
yeah,
And um, then he's like obviously devastated by that. And then he kind of goes back to his flashback about how they met and all of that.
yeah.
My hot take was going to be I was really sad when Tabitha died,
Yeah,
but kind of a bitch.
better off without
Kind
it.
of a bitch. It was kind of
Well, he was telling one story where like Tabitha, they were like in a house together, like a family like adopted them, like for like week by week
that
basis.
was them when they were in Nairobi. They were like, I
Yeah,
think, just essentially going. I think what you're gonna say
like
is
a family would like take them for a week and then like
sponsor
pass them on.
them.
Yeah, sponsor
Yeah.
them. Yeah. And like she was just kind of like, let's just run away from these
hmm
two and like go back. And
So the
it,
family was cool because they went out to the
yes,
mall and they were like, "Hey, I think they could kind of tell that they were just silly, like 16, maybe they were in
yeah,
love." And they were like, "Hey, we're gonna let you guys kind of chill here at the mall, like have some alone time, but
yeah.
like just be home." And then she was,
She was just like, let's go and get out of here. Like, and then he was kind of like, well, like that'd be a bad look for them. Like, there are sponsors, and if they lost like two Sudanese 16-year-olds, like they would maybe get in trouble. And she was just like, F them. And like, you're a coward for like being such a
yes,
rule follower. And if you know anything about Valentino, you know he's gonna follow the rules.
that was one thing
He's
about
a good rule follower.
Valentino. Like I would say, almost most of the time, he was like always doing the right thing
Yeah,
or trying to do the right thing,
yeah,
which in the times he was in is hard. Um, but to try to make our guy Valentino do the wrong thing
yeah.
there,
Kind of a
that
bitch move.
made me real upset. I was
Yeah,
like, you don't mess with
yeah.
Valentino like that.
I wasn't that upset when she got stabbed 22 times.
I was more upset for him. I was like, that kind of sucks. Like, obviously, this guy's been through enough. Like, now
Yeah,
his girlfriend's getting stabbed a lot, and his,
yeah,
his friends calling him and be like, hey, like, Tabitha got stabbed.
yeah, yeah.
It's like just like another thing. Like, everything bad just keeps happening to
I did
this
like the
guy.
communication, like, and going back,
All just
yeah,
on the phone all the time.
yes, like,
Agree.
and I think that is like a real thing. A lot of times you see like foreigners just like on the phone all the
Yeah,
time.
why are they always, what are they always talking about?
I think they're just like
It's like if
staying
you're an Uber
connected.
driver, they're just on the phone.
Well,
Who
they're
are you
all in
talking to?
different cities. Like they're all in
Because they
different
get
cities.
relocated.
Yeah, so like people were in Seattle, like they were all over the place. So like, and they've really stayed in touch. Like that's their community. We're always talking
Okay.
about a sense of community.
Okay.
They had one, but they were all on opposite sides of the country.
You're almost gonna be doing a pro
I
talking on
like
the
them
phone.
on the phone.
You like
I
that?
like that part,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, okay.
Like they gotta stay in touch. And I liked when he lost his
Cool.
phone.
I love how we disagree on like every single part of this book. It's rare. It's really rare.
Yeah, I would say this is probably maybe only the second book that we've had wildly different takes. The
Yeah.
Witches one I won't even put in this because
It was just such a stupid book.
it was that I couldn't understand. I literally couldn't do her accent. And then like my
Yep.
ADHD is too bad, so like when she would switch the recording from like her bathroom to like the living room, I literally,
She like cough in the middle.
yeah, I was literally like thinking for 20 minutes about like that type of thing and like how she would pronounce words differently, even when it was the exact same word. I would just be like, how did
All
you
the time.
know like that this
All
was
the
the
time.
pronunciation for this word and then the exact same word later you're
And she
pronouncing it
said the
different?
words differently and wrong.
Yes. Had I made it fully through that book and understood it, I think I
Mm.
also would have liked it, but maybe not as much as you liked it, but more
Mm.
so than I currently liked it. But this one I understood it. I think I got it. I just I had a hard time with that statement in the beginning.
That got you off on the wrong foot.
Yeah.
But I think just to wrap up the story part, like eventually he's in Kakamon for 10 years. They start to have this program where they like repurposing these lost boys into America. So like he's one of the last people that gets chosen for some reason, even though he was like pretty upstanding guy.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is a pretty cool scene though, too, of
once he
like,
finally got chosen, I this
yeah,
morning I was listening to it.
tearing out.
I choked up a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's
Yeah, I was like, oh my God.
See, I knew he was gonna get chosen because the first scene, because he's getting robbed in the
Because
USA.
he's obviously but it's still
Yeah,
like there's such a build up. It's a long book. Um, he's on the plane. I think it was September 10th, and I was like, I know something's
oh
coming. It
yeah,
was September 11th, 2001. Finally, when he's finally coming over. Um, his plane obviously gets delayed because of September 11th, and
yeah.
then 10
So
days later he finally comes.
yeah, so he takes like a really shitty plane where he said like four boys are like thrown up
Mm,
like before the plane even took off. They're like, there's no way this like little shitty plane is gonna get us anywhere. And it takes them to like a main airport in the city in Africa. And then they're like getting ready to go to America. 9/11 happens.
Yep.
all flights grounded.
Mm.
So that like really delayed it. And like that uncertainty, I did get that like could you imagine if something like that happened to you and like everything in your life, like he talks all the time about how God must like hate him or punish
Hmm.
him or something, like that must have been like the nail in the coffin of like, okay, yeah, it's never gonna
Yeah,
happen
these
again.
are people too that didn't know like what a plane was. So like
Yeah,
when they went on that trip to Nairobi with Tabitha, when we first started to hate Tabitha together,
yeah,
um, he was staying in this apartment with this couple. That was his first time ever on the second story of a building,
yeah,
which is insane.
yeah,
Just to think that like,
yeah,
he's probably what, maybe close to 20 at that point, I can't remember.
yeah.
Um, but I think he was like we were saying he was like
Because
16.
like you said, I mean, when he left the village, he was what,
I
8
think
or
it had to been like between 6 and 8.
which is insane.
So this is like a little boy at a certain point, like
And then for
just
the
running for your life in the African
yes, for
jungle.
like 10 years. Like he
Literally,
stopped at different camps along the way, but it's like those refugee camps, like that's not a it's not a city. They
right?
don't have buildings.
Right. You're in
It's just tents
tents
and
and
water and
some water. You have to go to like the water well in the morning,
I
and
will say like the two elements that I liked the most, one was the aspect that I talked about before while you weren't here, was like true poverty. That like it gives you a different perspective on like what actually having nothing is like. And it also like how shitty your life can actually be. Like, like getting stuck in traffic versus like,
oh, for sure.
having to run through like a line field at night is a bit different.
So this leads me to my question: Africa,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Overall.
Like what is what is truly going on there where someone could live for so long and not be in the second story of a building?
I think it's
Like people have been there for thousands of
yeah,
years. There's been so much turmoil and stuff, but like if say me and you right now were put in Africa.
president of Africa.
No, no, not yet. Just regular people,
Yeah,
and they said you have 1,000 years. You're gonna live 1,000 years.
yeah.
You just have to build one structure that has a second story. I think we could do it,
We could probably do it in this lifetime.
right?
Yeah, we could
But
probably
like,
do it within 20 years.
so like again, I've not been to Africa. I don't
I don't
know.
think it's all
It's
of
hard to
Africa. I think like Sudan, Congo,
but
some of those
why?
like
Is it
East
because the
African places.
climate's so bad that they can't like
I think
or
no
there's
money and
they
the
can't like
power's changing every like 3 years. Like who's in charge and
do you
who
think
is the power
is
is
it just like
changing.
food is so hard they just don't have the energy to like they don't have they can't like plant like agriculture
They also like don't have
or like
businesses, and then so it's like they're outsourcing their businesses. Like if you have
like
like a
there's like
mining,
trees like
yeah, like a mining company might come in
mm,
and like and then mine their natural resources and like then some government official is allowing it, he's getting paid off by the mining company, and then as soon as people find out that like he's being paid off by the mining company, they
mm,
overthrow him and they get someone else in power, and then that next person that comes into power does the exact same thing and over because it's like if you were
right
in power in those areas, it's like you have 3 years to get as much money as you possibly can out of that situation.
right but like
And then aren't they killing some of the good ones? Like, didn't they have a really good leader at one
well in
point? Got murdered.
Devil's Chessboard they had the guy in the Congo I forget his name it was like forget his name but he was like the good leader he was like
Yeah,
putting in like democratic
reinvesting.
elections and doing
Yes.
everything, and the CIA killed
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Yeah.
Literally because some of the top people in the CIA had investments in fruit companies.
Oh, yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And the fruit,
yeah,
and he there was a risk to their investments in these
yeah,
like fruit
yeah.
companies.
I think that's the problem. Is like
But like,
you not only have chaos between
agree, but like, step back 10,000 years.
who's in charge of Africa first.
Who's number one here?
Yeah.
Who's
Who
president?
yeah, who is number one of
But
is
like
anyone number one of all of
again,
Africa?
it's like one of these topics that like you can't talk about because it's like oh you're kind of being weird. It's like the vaccines or something.
You
But like
can if you only have 9 people listen.
yeah, but like honestly, objectively, like people all over the rest of the world have gotten places and been super poor and hungry and alone, and then eventually like kind of have built things.
I think they're too late. I think it's like
But
your
like they
last
were
party.
first. They were first.
They started
They
first.
started the party,
They started it, but they're
and they're
last right
good.
now.
They'll last right now.
And
But they were
and everyone else has a vested interest in keeping them last.
that's hurting them now for
Yeah.
sure. Agree.
Because if they weren't,
But
they're like the
event
biggest continent.
they're
They have
huge.
the most natural
But there was a
resources.
time where there was no one around to keep the turmoil. Like right now, I think 100% there's turmoil because of like America and other
Yeah.
countries
Want to keep them down.
want to
That's
keep them down
George Orwell 101.
for the minerals and
Yes.
natural
Yeah.
resources and all that because you can benefit.
Yes.
But that wasn't always the case.
I think
And
they probably had better values than us. They probably like if Coca-Cola started in Africa, they probably would have stoned that guy
just
to
stoned him.
death once the first person died or got really fat. They'd have been like this
He did
fucking
say
idiot.
when Tabitha got murdered that like no like a murder has like never happened in my whole life. Like a man would
Yeah.
never murder a woman. Like it's just not a thing that has ever happened. Which is
Yeah,
interesting. So it's like,
I think
well,
like
that's a
yeah,
good thing.
I think their morals seem really pretty good for the
That's
most
what I'm
part.
like. Their
I think
morals
it's
are
just
good.
such a
They're
power.
hard working. Like he's coming here. They're all coming here. They're working these like jobs. They're working really hard.
Yeah.
It's not that. So like, but like, so then what is happening?
So who is, can you answer that though? Who is number one?
Who's in charge?
Like of all of Africa? Do they have someone that's in charge of everything, or is every
I don't
single
know.
country
I think it's like Europe. Like Europe. Like no one's in charge of Europe.
that's the problem?
That's why Europe's in shambles. The American.
Yeah.
But like, you would even think like town by town. Take a town, Mariel,
Yeah.
my favorite town.
You really
Um, everyone's there. They're happy
Yeah.
for a while. 10,000 years,
Yeah.
let's say, before people started to really come in and mess things up. They never got anything going,
They're never gonna be.
really.
Yeah.
But is it because it's just the climate's so harsh that like you can't plant food and then you can't hunt food and then that's what builds an economy?
I
Or
think
is it like,
I think it's cultural. I would say the
but
same
they just
thing.
don't want to? Like
Yeah,
they're cool?
I would say it's the same thing with like the Indians.
But like once they got
The
to
Indians
America,
were in
like they saw
America.
TV and like they couldn't stop watching.
Yes, but they didn't know about that. Like they didn't care
Right.
about it. They weren't trying to profit off of it.
Hmm.
Like I would say like with the Indians coming to America, like the Indians were in America 200 years before us, rough estimate.
Which Indians? Native Americans?
Native Americans.
I think a long time.
So they were here for a long, long time.
They didn't do shit.
They didn't do shit. No buildings.
They didn't do anything.
Nothing.
But to their defense, they would move based on where the food was going.
True, but I
In
think
Africa, I guess you couldn't even do that because there's not even food.
yeah, there's
So,
no one's
right?
eating giraffes.
So I like, is that the problem? Like, if you're in Africa, like, there's just not enough resources around you to
I
be
don't think that's the issue.
self-sustaining.
I think the issue
Really?
is that there's no like corporations and politicians
What about before all that?
before all
Like
that.
500 years ago?
I think morally
Like
they
a
just
thousand years ago, there was castles in Europe, right?
I don't
There,
think they saw that stuff like
but like,
until we started bringing them here as
but
slaves.
yeah, but like the
They didn't even
people,
see a building.
but like some,
I don't think like any
someone,
like they hadn't even seen
whoever
ice.
built the
Like he
castle,
never saw ice before.
whoever built the first castle,
Yeah.
never saw a castle before that. So like again, like those, if
So
people
you're
all
saying,
started in
yeah,
Africa and like started to move out, and then they went places and like started to do all these things, why didn't they do some of those things there?
this is gonna be a hot take, but I'm glad we're 2 hours and 15 minutes. No one
I'm
will hear it.
honestly just like don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I'm
would
not saying
say,
it's because like the people are bad. I think people are good.
yeah,
I just is something holding them down. Like is I think it might be the food thing and the water thing.
yeah, it could be. I mean, that is a thing where it's like until you're natural, until you're whatever it's called, like the things that you need to survive, like shelter, food, water, like until those basic needs are met, There's like a psychology thing.
I like that.
Yeah. Not a big deal, but
That's kind of a big deal.
yeah, like until those basic needs are met, you literally can't do anything else. And like maybe what you're saying is Africa is just the climate's so bad, the animals are so bad, the water situation's so bad that those things are never met. So like if you can't have those things met, then you can't go on to innovate and improve and do all that stuff. I think that's probably the best answer we come up with that.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
That's the best answer I've heard
Yeah.
to this question before.
But then
It's probably right.
yeah.
Because if you're fully in survival mode
Yeah.
all the time, it's you can't just like stop and build a house
Yeah.
because you really can't.
You
Like
you can't go and move to a better
you're walking two
area.
hours to get water and two
Yes.
hours back. By the
Yes.
time you come back,
You're setting up where the water is.
you're kind of getting ready to eat and go to bed.
And you're spending all your time boiling the water so you don't die from it.
Right, you're doing that in food and like
Yeah.
making sure you have like some clothes,
Could
and
you
then
could you
that's
imagine
it.
if you
You're
had to
you'll have. I think that's the
yeah.
best
If you
answer.
had to walk an hour for water every day, and then you had to boil that water, and then you had to wait for that water to cool down in 90-degree heat in Africa, what else are you doing that day?
I'm not doing a lot.
Yeah.
That's it for
That's
me.
it.
And
Yeah.
I like walking.
I'm going in the wiggy wah.
I like walking. I like hitting my steps. But I think in the African heat, that's gonna slow me down,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna be building a lot of the castles.
Yeah. I think
That's fair. I
yeah.
think that's it.
And I think now though it's all a power struggle and everyone else trying to keep him down.
Now, 100%. Think about how much money we're sending, quotes, to Africa to help.
Yeah.
If you actually took all that money and helped Africa,
Yeah.
they'd all be fine.
Well, all you have to do is connect them to the ocean.
You just connect them to the ocean. You
Yeah.
hand the water bottles
Yeah.
further into people. We solved that earlier. But like, think about it. In the last 20 years, has $100 billion or a
Oh
trillion
yeah.
dollars gone in aid, like in donations and stuff? Like, I don't know.
I will
It's all
say,
fake money at that point.
yeah, that was probably my second favorite part though, is the Red Cross thing. I think because like the situation was so mad, like imagine seeing like a boy, like you're coming from the United States, and imagine seeing like these lost boys like eating raw elephant and
Mm.
like being like 100 pounds and like 6'2",
Yeah,
and
like not
like
even 100 pounds, probably.
yeah, and like you actually see like what's going on, like the level of happiness that you would get, I think, like helping people like that would be astronomical. It like made sense to me in a way of like why so many people are like so happy being in like the Red Cross and
Hmm.
like all these things where it's like they go to Africa and they help. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you were a part of that process for the Lost Boys of like finding the Lost Boys and bringing them to America, we'll debate whether or not that helped them or not. But
Right, right.
that level of satisfaction and like we say, like purpose, like your purpose in life, I feel like that would last you for the rest of your life.
I think that's a good point because we talk a lot about like people trying to feel good about themselves and like actually doing good. And we'll talk about like, hey, if you have an iPhone, you can't talk about anything because, slaves made your phone. But the people who actually went to Sudan
Yeah,
to help these people get should get props
I agree.
because that's like the real deal sacrifice and you're
Totally.
going to help and you're physically helping
Yeah.
and that's like a very quantifiable thing
And physically helping people that really do genuinely need and want.
versus like in I don't want to like hate on just like every single thing that ever happens, but like here,
Soup kitchens.
soup soup kitchens are like borderline because at least you're feeding people.
Yeah.
But say you just like do a 5K
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and you're
We're gonna
raising
start.
you're raising money.
Yeah.
Like so in a town like this, you have a bunch of like rich, well-off people.
Yeah. All they want to do anyway is talk about their running club.
They want to go talk about how much they're
Yeah.
running,
Yeah.
which is kind of what I want to talk about right now.
Yeah.
But they want to pretend like they're doing it for something good.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about like my mile times and my 2 mile times and things. Um, and then they like tell you that you need to like pay them
Yeah.
like per mile or something. Like, oh, I'm doing this walk,
Yeah.
and like I'm raising money for like something.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, every like mile I walk, you like pay me like $20.
See, I
It's
didn't
like
even know how that works.
some of them are like
Yeah,
that.
but I would love to ask a lot of questions about that. Like if a guy
Mm.
came up to me and was like, "Hey, I'm doing a 5K to raise money for this," I'd just be like, "I have so many effing questions. Like, why don't you, instead of doing the 5K, go get a job and then use that job? I'll donate, or I'll even donate. I'll donate while for every hour you do at this job, but I don't need you running in a circle."
Or actually go and do something. So like you're raising money. Most charities, like maybe some of the money goes to what it's for, and the
Yeah.
rest everyone just like gets really rich.
Yeah, that's a whole nother day.
Um, so like if you want if pick like any cause, go to that thing
Yeah,
and help those people.
yeah.
Like they need help clearly
And
because
then
there's
I'll
a whole
pay
charity
you.
about
Yeah,
them. I'll help you, or just you don't need money.
yeah,
Why do you like just go?
yeah.
Go
No,
and do it.
it
Go to Sudan
seems like a
and
wasted
help them.
step. Yeah, where
Or
even
like
if you're like we're raising money for cancer research,
go to the
so I'm
cancer
gonna go do
patients.
this
They need
race.
help. Their
Yeah,
families
yeah,
are struggling. Maybe
yeah,
they need money. Maybe they need breakfast sometimes. So
yeah.
go bring them breakfast sometimes.
Take all the money.
Get a dozen bagels and
Yes,
coffees and go bring to their family
yeah,
that's like all sitting around their this deathbed.
totally.
Instead of just like you're
Yes,
gonna go run a 5K.
yes. Take every runner and guy standing around pointing which way to go, and just take them to a Ronald McDonald house and volunteer for the day. You know, I'm with you. You could be doubling up your level of
Go actually do because like go actually do something and stop pretending to do something.
yeah.
That's a
Another day. We'll have to read a book on it.
I'll have to read a book on
Yeah,
charities and stuff. But I did one thing just to kind of some closing thoughts.
yeah.
The things I did not like about the book, or not about the book, but about like the Sudanese situation was
Sudanese people in general.
yeah, like once the boys got here, like they had been through the most horrific struggles ever.
Yeah.
They got to America and they were kind of dicks. Like they had
The
the one woman who was running the kind of foundation for them who
yeah.
brought them all here, and she would like take them to like NBA games and they would sit courtside. They would meet
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie and
Yeah.
like it was all this like big deal. And they were kind of just like they would get really jealous of each other and like want to be
Yeah.
the ones that were like in the spotlight and
Yeah. Yeah.
they really became kind of dicks in that situation, which I didn't love.
A lot with Manute Bol too.
Manute Bol, he was like the big guy who came, because I don't know if he wasn't a lost boy, I don't think, but I think he was from Sudan.
Yeah, he was.
So like he was kind of like the big hero, and he would kind of tell, but he was a good dude. Like, I think he told
Yeah.
them to like, hey, like do good things when you're here and
No,
all
they
that kind
were
of
very
stuff.
like jealous of each other, and like the issues that they developed, I thought was interesting too. Where it was like, yeah, just because they made it here, it didn't make them good people, and it didn't rid them of their
It
problems.
didn't make them better in
They just
almost
like,
any way. They
yeah,
kind of struggled just in a very different way.
totally.
What are we having? 1 second. Go talk to see if we don't have any.
Where's the... Wait, then it's not. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought this was the leash.
Yeah. So how's Hoboken?
Hmm.
Yeah.
She did all of her fun things.
What kind of what kind of tricks is she doing now?
She is.
Any tricks?
You some tricks. She can smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby cat.
Smile.
Hi.
She's like, I will not do anything. So she is.
Yeah. I
She's
think
kind of like calling that.
it's smart. It's like if you have only a few tricks, you're not just gonna throw them out
She
there
doesn't
within
do
5
anything for
seconds.
anyone.
Yeah.
Right? She's like, you'll have to work for it for months.
I remember I showed my older sister like a chimpanzee baby video when like her kid was like
This is
about
why
this
you
age,
got.
Uh-huh.
and she thought it was gonna be like, like I don't know, like look how good your baby's doing. And I was just like, look at this freaking baby chimp. Look how many things this baby chimp
They
can
can do
do.
so. Oh,
Yeah.
human
And it's
babies
like
can do nothing.
your baby can do nothing.
Human babies can do
Like this baby
nothing.
chimp's using
For
the toilet
years, for
already.
No,
years
for
they
Yeah.
can't do
years. Until
nothing.
Yeah.
she's like 18.
It's insane. Yeah.
They shouldn't even be driving by then because they're not smart at 18.
Nah.
Yeah.
We should probably only have like a 10-year span in which we're allowed to drive. Like I didn't
And then
like
we get to like actually I can't see a
Between
night
like
anymore.
28
I
and
should be
38.
I was
cut
gonna say the
off.
same thing. 28 and 38. Like once I hit about
100%.
28, I finally felt responsible.
And
Eerily close to
girls, they should
38
be a little
points.
different. Girls should be like 24 to
Yes,
like
34.
27.
34.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we're lower.
you guys can maybe get 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't see at night anymore. I think I'm out. Like
Yeah,
I truly am like not trusted at night.
I
I
think
can't see it that day either.
I think Ray should play a role.
Why should
No,
I? Oh my God.
I was
jokes.
behind like some old lady coming here, and like some of the things she was doing, I was just like, Jesus Christ! Like she was going on the highway too. I was
100.
like,
I mean,
this
maybe
is
not
crazy.
race, but gender. We
Yeah,
know. As I know as
yeah.
a girl.
There's two flies in my mind. See that?
Extra
You
protein.
gotta drink it quicker.
Seriously?
She was so cute in Hoboken. We ran into Kate and V.
Oh, that was an
It
accident?
was an accident. I was like, and V's like, Kate has been talking about you for the last 30 minutes because we used to like hang out in Hoboken all the time. So
Ah.
he's like, every spot, it's been like, Amy and I did this. And he's like, that was crazy that we ran into you. He's like, I've never been to Hoboken.
Wow.
And I haven't been there in 2 years. So
That's awesome.
You think he's watching the pod, keeping up?
After this, he definitely will be. He's on it. Oh, that's the happiest baby I ever saw.
you didn't know you were doing that for the group?
Yeah. She's actually our only guest we've ever had.
Yeah.
She was on
Well, she
video.
hasn't been on the. Was she on the video?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is
Oh, really?
crazy how comfortable we are with this type of dead air time.
Yeah. And so
Like
he's
I don't
actually doing
even,
that.
yeah, I don't even remotely think twice
If you're
about
on
it.
2 hour 24th minute, God bless you.
Yeah,
Right?
God bless you. We're wrapping up too. We're
Yeah.
Sorry, we just came back out because she
no,
was.
you're good. We're just
Nah.
I fed her.
I think we're on closing thoughts of our second book.
Amazing.
yeah. I think
Um,
we're on
Well, let us
unrated.
know. I'll bring her back because
we'll
it's
come
probably
in.
full.
We'll
Yeah.
come in and we'll pick our 50th book and plan that inside.
Yeah, come on in.
Um,
We're hanging.
All right. So final thought and then rate it.
yeah, let me just. I'm afraid that she just pulled that over. Whatever. All right, we talked about
Wait,
Africa.
Rosie might hit your computer off. Somehow.
That's all right. I feel like that'd be a good way to kick it off.
Good way to end things.
Nice.
I think I would say overall. Oh, she did knock out a bit. Um, I I thought it was an awesome book. I loved most of it. I would say the first two thirds were way better than the last third. I didn't once he got to Kakuma and kind of was like safe
Yeah.
essentially.
There
Like
wasn't a big twist at the
it
end.
lost like its intensity. Like the first
Yeah.
two thirds like really intense. Like he's going through a lot.
I agree. I definitely went through the first two thirds a lot quicker. I think I got to like that 8 hour mark and then stayed there for a day or two, then got down to six and stayed there for a day or two, and then
I
this morning
enjoyed
was a grind.
listening to like him and his perspective on things and like this just the stories that he went through were like it's just so crazy and absurd. So
It
like
is,
in
yeah.
terms of like book wise, awesome topic, different than anything we've read before.
Yeah.
Um, a little bit closer to fiction than we normally do, but I kind of
It didn't feel like fiction though when you
right like
listen.
I kind of listen to it as like this is like what happened to him, and I do think that like
That story's probably not far off from,
I think it's as
know.
close as you can
Yeah.
get to like a real story. Um,
Just very strange. I
like
didn't like that note.
in the
I
beginning.
think that would bump it up at least a 0.5 for me, which would put
Wow.
it in a very respectable
Wow.
category.
So when we get to the ratings, that's a
Yeah.
huge part of the
Like I
rating.
have my rating in here and now I'm
We're
confident.
not. We were aligned on the 4-4. We're not going
Yeah.
to be the same here.
No. I
Which
will
I think is
put
good.
I was gonna say I'll put what I think you're gonna give it, but I don't want to
Put
mess up my perfect record here.
put what you think. Yeah, you don't have to. But
So you want me to?
you can.
Alright, I gotcha.
Actually, I do think I had it kind of in my head as I was like reading it because there was a point in this book
Alright,
where
go
I
on.
was thinking 5 stars,
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
which is great. It's not.
Okay. I'm going hundreds here, by the way, for your rating.
I'm gonna round to the tens, but
Okay.
um, like I would recommend this book to almost everyone.
Wow.
Like I would say like this is like very worthwhile, and I would say audiobook for this one. Like this is a worthwhile audiobook.
Okay.
It's a little bit too long.
Yeah.
I think they could have cut it down by like maybe a few hours.
Great.
And as rating wise, I would say like a 4 or 5.
Okay. I was close. I said you 4.38.
4.38. Yeah.
I knew it was gonna be low. I just couldn't go
Close.
that high. I was at a 3.7,
Okay.
which
Wow.
I think is it's low because we typically like 0 to 5 is tough, even if you go hundreds, because anyone
Most of
that
my books are
writes a
in the
book,
4 to 5. Like I
yeah,
almost rate between four to
yes,
five. So like a
nobody's
4.5 is
getting
almost like a
yes.
50%.
If you write a one, I mean, if you write a book, you're not getting a one. Like the credit that you get alone for just writing a book,
Yeah.
I'm not giving it a one. So you're starting at least like a two. And I think most of our really bad, like not even bad books, but books that we just like couldn't get into, didn't like,
Mm.
we still take a few things from it and still enjoy it. So it's like at minimum, it's a three.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then now all of
Yeah.
a sudden you're okay. Bad books are a three, great books are a five. Everyone's somewhere in between there. And I think I
Uh,
couldn't give it a four. I would have been fine with a 4.2 if it was not fiction. Yeah.
Did weren't for that.
That note.
So
Even just take the
so
note
four
out.
or five,
Don't even tell me whether it's fiction
four
or
or five and a
fiction.
3.7 gets you to a 4.2
Yeah,
essentially,
I think that's
and
right.
that might be right.
I bet if you check it, I bet it's a 4.2.
I think
I'll check
that's
it right now.
right. I just think I was kind of more focused on when I was reading it, like story wise, like what happens to the Lost Boys. 4.3.
I think that's
That's right,
right.
right there.
Yeah.
Like what happens to the Lost Boys? Why are people not talking about this? Like everyone's like so up in arms about like Ukraine and Russia and Israel, and it's like,
Yeah.
why does no one give a crap that there's most countries in Africa are just in like total disarray and war all the time
I know.
because of Muslims or
I know.
Like
Yeah.
whoever is coming in,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, that's cool, but like if Ukraine gets invaded, it's like
No, I
you
think
gotta
we
put flags up. Like
I
how
know.
many South Sudan flags
I know.
do you see in your neighborhood?
We talk about it all the time that like we're such hypocrites as people that it's
Mm.
just like the iPhone thing that we talked about where it's like, everyone has an iPhone, but
I
yet
I think the Lost
everyone's
Boys is the same. Like if you
yes. Like you're up in
have a cause
arms.
and you don't know about the Lost Boys, like, I don't
Yeah.
want to talk to you.
I think if you have an iPhone
Have an
and
iPhone.
you have a opinion of something terrible that's going on in the world, you're an idiot.
You're dumb.
Yeah.
You're dumb.
Um
Hey, two good books.
I like how every single one of the people that might listen to this definitely has an iPhone.
Yeah,
We do as well.
we're behind the iPhone 10.
But it's just
But I think the difference is that at least I try to not be on like a high horse about like everything else.
yes,
Like
yes,
everything
yes.
that I'm not doing is bad, but
Yes.
everything I'm doing is like
Yeah.
totally cool. I think
I-
that's where
I'm not
I get
saying,
mad.
yeah, you need to get rid of your iPhone, but you at least need to account for the fact that like bad things are happening all over the world at all
Yeah.
times.
So like if you get your panties in a bunch about like one thing without thinking about everything, you're kind of missing like the whole big picture.
I agree
I
with
think
that.
that's it.
I
That's
think
the
that's
point.
right. All right,
Um,
we'll end on that.
that's a
And
good point. I think
if you made it 2 hours and 31 minutes, God bless. You're a saint. And also maybe find a better podcast.
no, I think this is pretty good. I think we did a good job.
We're out here trying our best.
This was books 48 and 49,
Yeah,
which people in Hunter were impressed when they saw like you guys have read like almost 50 books.
yeah.
Yeah. But the next one's gonna be special. We'll do
Yeah.
something big for book number 50.
We may want to just go one book, honestly.
I think we have to pick one book.
Yeah.
We have to, we
Lock
gotta
in unbelievably.
loop in Chase. Let's go
Yeah.
brainstorm that right now
Yeah.
inside. Um, and we'll put it in the thing on what book is coming so that
Love
folks
it.
can read along before
Yeah.
it comes out.
All right, we'll see you guys next
Well,
time.
bye everyone.